Oh, did you? You kind of froze up there. Like,
I was just trying to make it awkward. Welcome back to the Bourbon and BS podcast, everyone. This is episode 319, and we are live in the garage and sweating our stuff off.
You more so than me.
Yeah, well, I don't have any hair to hold it up top, so it's just streaming down right now, which is awesome. I want to welcome everyone back. We've got some special stuff tonight. Nate has already partaken in it. Looks like possibly enjoying it. I have not taken a sip yet or lit up. You have not lit up either with this, but we've got some new stuff, some very exciting stuff as well for those that are in Ohio. But for those that aren't in Ohio, still going to be an enjoyable show. Hopefully you can stay with us as we talk about this wonderful bottle. And then also we've got a cigar that is brand new as well.
And this distillery does have products that are available in other states.
Correct. Yes, absolutely.
Just not what we're drinking.
Not this one. I want to thank all you guys out there for helping us keep this going by listening, obviously sharing, liking, and reviewing it, but also the ones that are helping us out on patreon.com/bourbonandbs podcast. I'm sorry, yes, /bourbonandbs podcast. The Venmo is at bourbonandbs. So patreon.com, you can do monthly, $5, $10, $25 here, or whatever you'd like to do. It is patreon.com/bourbonandbs podcast. And then if you want to do a one-time contribution for a bottle or what have you, we appreciate those one-time contributions through Venmo at Bourbon and BS for Venmo. So we appreciate that. I've got a prototype on. You've got an OG shirt on.
Yeah. This one's got the logo on the back.
Yeah, it was too expensive to do that on a mass level. But check them out, buyjack.com/Bourbon and BS. I've got this one that I didn't think many people would like. This is that kind of 80s style ringer shirt. I guess it's making a comeback, so maybe we should do these. What do you think?
I like the look of it.
You like it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me know what you guys think that are listening. Oh, you guys sound like you're in a garage. We'll check that sound here. Maybe it didn't stick here.
Oh, yeah.
And there you go, Ray.
There. Now it should be better.
Buyjack.com/bourbonandbs for any of the shirts. Like I said, this one's not on there. But if you guys do like it, let us know. We can always get it available. This is a ringer shirt for BS Cigar Company. You've got the pour one more, light up another. We'll figure this out together. And that is the podcast official shirt there. There's other stuff out there. I wouldn't recommend wearing hoodies this time of the year in the Midwest or anywhere that's hot because most of the U.S. is hot.
Yes.
But there's also 3/4 sleeves. There's some ladies' deep V-neck shirts, or for anyone that wants to buy the deep V-neck shirt, you can buy it. But it was, we'll just call it a ladies because that's what it says on there. All right. So what? I'm sorry. That's what it says on
As
there. But
voted on by the ladies.
That's right. Anyways, I want to thank our sponsors also, Tinder Box at Easton. That's where this cigar is coming through. Right now, this cigar is only available in one size at Tinder Box at Easton in Columbus, Ohio. This is the CAO FASA. This is the Sol. This is one of two FASAs that they've released, but they are slow getting it out. They had a bigger response than what they intended or expected, rather. So they are already on back order immediately. We were lucky enough that thanks to General Cigars, we got some. So we're going to be reviewing that tonight. So thank you so much. But the 6x60 is available at the Tinder Box at Easton in Columbus, Ohio, along with other CAO products and other General Cigar options out there. So also Altadis USA, we've got a kind of a favorite for the second part of the show, right? It's the H. Upman Nicaragua by AJ Fernandez. This is that kind of, you guys may or may not be able to see that, but that's that kind of teal, would you say? Carolina blue? What is that?
Oh, no, that's not Carolina blue.
Is that teal?
That's more of a teal.
More of a teal.
Yeah.
So yeah, this one was one that the AJ Fernandez collaborated with Rafael over at Altadis. So check them out. Thank you so much for the support. We've got a new rep actually in the area. So we'll be getting him on here hopefully the next month and featuring some cool stuff from Altadis. So we appreciate that support as always from you guys. And also the BS Cigar Company. The gold is made by Plasencia and the silver is made by Espinosa. So check them out as well. Where available, especially at the Tinder Box at Easton, or contact them directly and they can get some stuff out to you. Do we know what FASA means? Is that what it says? Okay. What are you chuckling at?
Ray.
Yeah. It's already asking questions.
I know. We're still doing the intro.
I've got this. I don't even know if it says what it means.
But we'll get to talking about the cigar.
We'll be getting to it. All right. Without further ado, and sorry, Ray, I know you're dying to hear about the FASA here. But before we do that, we are going to be talking about something special. Our friends over at Watershed Distillery, they reached out again. Amy over there reached out again, and she is always very, very sweet and helpful with this type of stuff. Wants to hear what we have to say about this. They did something very special. Did you knew about this before this, or is this news to you, Nate?
You telling me about this project was news to me.
Okay. Very cool. So this is going to be, Watershed has given us this bottle here to review, right? This is the Watershed single barrel series. This is the Ace of Hearts. Now, the Ace of Hearts is one of 6 exclusive single barrel releases that the Watershed Distillery has teamed up with, in collaboration with the OHLQ, so the Ohio Liquor Department, basically, is how that works. And they have named this limited edition collection the Royal Flush.
Okay.
So we have the Ace of Hearts. Obviously, the rest of the Royal Flush is only 5 cards. So there is actually a...
Let me guess. Joker.
Joker's Wild. Good guess. So there we go. This is something that is brand new, like I said, and this is one of 6 barrels, and they are all single barrels. This one is going to be, it says at least 6 years.
Well, it has to be, because the way Watershed does their stuff, it actually gives the barrel number on the label.
Mm-hmm.
So this was barreled in 2018.
Right.
So
this one is 6 years and 39 days.
All right.
So very specific from them. Before we dive into this, and we'll review this again towards the end of the show, but I want to say to everyone, this one is going to be released on a limited basis starting June 24th.
Oh, okay. So next week.
Next week.
For those listening live.
Yes. Today's the 19th.
Yep.
So the 24th full distribution is expected by June 28th. So we'll start sprinkling out in the state on the 24th, and there'll be full distribution while supplies last to starting June 28th. Ohio only, obviously, and like I said, while supplies last. Any questions?
So 6 single barrels. All right.
6 single barrels. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, 6 single barrels, you usually get like 120 to 180 cases out of a barrel.
Yes.
But that's if you're watering something down. So doing it at barrel strength, you're probably pushing that 100 to 150 maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah. And I assume this is going to come in at the same retail as their other single barrels, $69.99.
Oh, good question. That's what I was assuming as well. And on this sheet, we do not have that information. I am going to go to the sources.
I could probably sit there and
I would imagine you're right.
Text someone at work like, "Hey, what's the barcode on Watershed?"
We're going to the source right now.
Because that's one thing I like about Watershed when they do a lot of their single barrel releases.
Yes.
Like even the OHLQ ones, like it's the same price as like their regular single barrel stuff.
Okay.
Like when I did,
I remember when I went
to
that.
the booty
absolutely.
hunt event, like all of those leftover single barrels were all the same price as any of the others.
Oh, we got Ryan Vendrick. There's the source right there. On average, 180 to 200 bottles per.
I said cases.
That's our bottles per barrel. Ryan, what's the MSRP on this? I've got a message out there. Now I got you on here. Hopefully you can give us a little bit of insight on that as well. We'll find out. All right, let's take a sip. You've already had a couple sips, correct?
I have.
All right.
We didn't even tell them the proof yet, did we?
No, we have not. And I'm already sweating. It is currently 85 degrees at 8:20 p.m. So nice warm night in the garage here.
A little stuffy.
It's got a little sting on the nostrils.
Yeah. Blow into the glass to get some of that ethanol out.
Still got a little sting on the nostrils. $59.99.
Oh, 59. Oh, that's right. Single barrels are 59. The uncut, unfiltered batch 2 is 69. Mixing up my Watershed products.
They've got a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it is 130 proof.
But in true Watershed fashion, doesn't really drink like 130. Not to me.
I would agree.
Like a lot of the Watershed that we've had, you know, I had that single barrel that was 142. We had the rye back in December that was 145. But like a lot of their stuff, we always say like punches below the proof. I would say the one exception to that was when Dino did his barrel pick. That was
up there.
That was 119, but
it was up there.
It drank hot. It drank hot. You're trying to.
What is that note? I can't tell if it's the proof or what. First of all, it's got a little bit of that kind of some sort of like a spearmint.
Yep.
So I don't know if that's on the finish. So I don't know if that's partly the proof or if that's
probably the proof for that one.
Because right out of the gate, first case that I've got is as I finish that, yeah, it's like it's spearmint. Which to some people be like, why would I want to drink, you know, spearmint? But it is that's the first thing that hits me. I'm gonna have a couple more sips. What are you thinking? You've had a couple sips already to kind of.
Yeah, I kind of get like
shocks your palate at first. This is that
actually
proof.
The first sip had probably the least amount of shock on it for me.
Perfect. I'm looking forward to this then.
No, right off the rip, this is gonna sound bad, but it's what comes to my mind, like a dusty graham cracker.
Like like a stale one?
Well,
how does a graham cracker get dusty? Did it
fresh,
fall like it was like a fresh
box,
one?
But you know,
kind of like kicked it under the fridge a little bit.
No,
you probably shouldn't eat that.
Still in a fresh box, but like, maybe you forgot about the box in the back of the pantry a little bit.
Okay.
But I mean, it's got this dustiness like an older whiskey would. Because I've had some stuff.
Ooh,
so
oak now. That
dusty characteristic doesn't necessarily mean it's an old bottle. Because I've had recently some bourbons and ryes from I won't say who, that when I tasted them, like it just tasted like dusty is how I described it. That's just the way my mind is when it comes to some of these tasting notes.
This definitely holds on to the palate after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
This definitely just kind of has a bit, as you said earlier, like a linger, right?
Yeah, the finish definitely lasts quite a bit.
Yeah, and it keeps going and going and going and just kind of slowly mellows out as you're drinking it, in my opinion.
Yeah. But, I mean, there's definitely a little bit of sweetness there up front.
So it's not.
It's like the top of a creme brulee that got maybe just a hair overcharred.
A little overcharred. I've got a little oak there. It's like got this super small hint. It's not very, very much for me, but a very small hint of like a black licorice.
Oh, the like anise?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
Okay. I
don't know if you're getting that at all.
Not that I'm finding.
Okay.
But then again, it's been a very long freaking time since I had black licorice.
My mom liked black jelly beans and black licorice, and she was the only one in the family that likes them. She's still with us. Sorry, Mom. But yeah, you either like that or you don't, I feel like. But it's in the background for me there. Not saying I don't like it. Like I said, if it's up front, I'm not going to be a fan. When I'm sipping on it, I've got a little bit of that. There's some flavor, unless you have something else. I'm with Ryan. You know, the dust-covered graham cracker is a new one for me. I can't relate to that. I don't know how that would taste at all.
I didn't say dust-covered.
Oh, that's what he wrote. Dust-covered.
I know.
Dusty graham cracker.
Well, because if you say old graham cracker that has a
mold, that's stale. It's bad.
Doesn't mean it's bad. You know how many preservatives are in a fucking graham cracker? That thing is not going bad.
Yeah, I guess. Still wouldn't eat it.
No.
That's not it's not like a cigar. That's not plume on there if it just rubs off. All right. That's not the oils coming up from the cracker. Like a cigar.
Oh. Well, thank you.
Justin Turner, you mean it drinks like Jägermeister? No, he says just kidding, but no, I'm just saying I got a little bit of that kind of in the back end there. So it's with that spearmint, with that definitely a sipper. This is something that is a unique expression here. What I'd like to do for the second glass is I have no idea where the water dropper is, but I'm gonna do the old pinky drop.
Oh, I see it.
You got it? Okay, cool.
Right there.
Definitely sanitary at this point. If you saw it on the shelf in the garage, so that's been. I mean, this is 130 proof. I think we're gonna be fine. Hey,
still one in the package.
Not exactly sealed or sterile, but we'll do it. We will do it. Thank you, Kristen.
Here, use that one. I'll use the dusty one. And
gonna help you out with that graham cracker.
The one that's been sitting on the shelf.
I'm sweating for those that can't see it. I'm sorry, I keep wiping. I'm just it's warm. I'm running a little hot here.
Kristen says you're welcome.
I saw. Sweetest. The sweetest. All right. That's really all. This one they didn't really give me many notes. This is a Char 5. And like I said, 130 proof, but I think that's about all they got. They wanted to hear I need a headband. Now on buyjack.com. Bourbon and BS headband.
For those sweaty nights.
That's right. A little Jim McMahon action there.
Well, and I'm going to guess based on...
That's it, man.
Based on
got me.
Well, based on the labeling and knowing what a lot of their other single barrel stuff is, this is probably stuff out of their bottled and bond inventory.
I would imagine we were going to try to line up an interview. So I don't know, Ryan, if you're on here, Ryan Venrick, I tagged you on the original post, but if you're still on here, any information you can give us on this, that would be helpful. Working with Amy Jones over there. This was kind of, I don't want to say last minute, but I mean, we were lucky we were able to get this on. We didn't have anyone on the schedule tonight. I would have tried to push it in anyways. They want us to talk about this week and next week. So this was where which one's going to work the best. Might as well drink 130 proof when it's 85 degrees.
Yeah.
Let's get it done.
Yeah.
Let's have at it. Let's go full go into this thing. And I think I'm glad we did. I would have liked to have someone on here. She mentioned someone else as well. Tommy, you know Tommy.
Tommy Householder.
Yeah. So sorry, guys, we weren't able to line up an interview on this one, but hopefully you guys are going to get something from us tonight. It's interesting with these bottles, and this, I'm going to light up a cigar here soon because I don't think I can just get, I mean, I had a decent pour there. I'm going to light up a cigar soon, but I'm curious to try this with a drop of water.
Yeah.
In fact, let's just do that. Give me a little bit more there to like a normal here pour, so not a whole lot more. And then I'm going to do a drop of water in this before I light up a cigar so we can get that kind of, yeah, Ryan, he says it's a Char 5. That's all that we really know, obviously. This is 6 years.
He gives the mash bill.
Mine's behind. It's
yeah, this
Generation 1 iPad, I believe it is. So.
And I forgot the mash bill, but yeah, it's 21% rye. And so that really comes through, I think.
That's got to be what we're getting here.
In this product.
1 or 2?
Do 2. Start out.
So shaky, try not to do more. All right. Yeah, I'm only getting Char 5. He gave the mash bill?
Yeah, 72 corn, 21 rye, 7 malted barley.
Oh, there it is. Oh, it was before that. I must have missed it. Huh. Put it up on the page there. There it is. I don't have it on my iPad, but I got it on the screen there. 72% corn, yeah, 21 rye and 7 malted barley. That's high rye.
Yes, it is.
It's a high rye.
I actually had a bottle that I opened over the weekend that it was 120, and I needed to add a little water to it in order to open it up because it was 120 proof 12-year rum.
Wow. Okay.
And so just really sharp, bright, like a lot, like especially on a rum that doesn't add a lot of molasses or sugar after the fact. Like it comes across really intense and in your face.
Yeah.
Had to add a little bit of water, and it just made it so much more enjoyable on the palate.
Oh, take a sip of that. You did 2 drops, right? I know we didn't have the exact same pour, but I mean, this is something that
science.
There's some sort of a control there. I don't know what it is. What do you think? It's always interesting because we already shocked our palate a little bit with obviously the first couple.
The finish is kind of more intense.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like it came through my nose there. But like on the palate was a little softer, a little richer. But the finish was a little bit more.
Finish how?
The finish was just more intense. That spearmint, that bright rye spice,
yeah,
kind of more intense.
We've got some people that are excited about the cigar side.
Ryan said this is one of the oldest single barrels that they've released. 6 years.
Starting to get some age on our portfolios overall. Ryan was great having on the show.
Oh yeah,
solid dude, fun.
Anytime you want back on.
Yeah. We definitely love the people at Watershed. The honest feedback here for me is this is enjoyable. It's a unique expression. That's when I say that, it's not a way of knowing that, you know, Watershed was kind giving this to us and wanting to, you know, be nice. For me, I'll speak for myself, and then Nate, if you want to chime in here, this is a nice bottle. This is unique. It's not anything. It's not that unique where you're like, this is
too different.
This is unique.
Yeah.
Try this. Oh, I don't like that at all. I told you it's unique. It's not like that, right? It's going to be more of, this is a sipper. This is a nice one to have. I understand the collection side of it, you know what I mean, as far as that goes, with the 6 different barrels. If you can get different ones and try the different expressions, I think that's always nice to see. Not knowing, again, they didn't give us a whole lot of information on the other 5, but this one is something that when I say it's unique, it does have, and I do with the 2 drops in there, it definitely, for me, it's funny you say it's more intense on the finish. It mellowed it out for me. Absolutely mellowed it out in a good way. It kind of took a little bit of that sharpness of what I was saying with the spearmint at first. It took away a little bit. I don't get any of that black licorice anymore.
Okay.
So it kind of balances it out a little bit for me.
Ryan said it's a little hot for me when I sampled it, so it's aligning with what I've experienced, but overall solid pour.
Yeah. A little spice now.
This is one of those where, like, in the Watershed single barrels that I've had, and I've had a bunch of them, so if you, Steve, this one, for me, with 2 drops of water, it actually drinks more like a 130 than it did before the water.
It's so odd
because
that palates can be that different, because I the reverse.
Because it is just sitting there on my tongue. It's just, that spice is just sitting there for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, it's delicious. Yeah, it's hanging around.
It's hanging around.
And again, you know, you talked about it briefly there when you and I have done barrel picks with OHLQ in the past. One of the things that the state tells you when you're doing barrel picks is you want to pick something that's different than the product that's already on the shelf from that label.
Yeah.
But you don't want to pick something that's too different that it's going to scare people off.
No, certainly not.
Yeah.
Certainly not.
And
well,
usually
they try that. That's the only one they try from Watershed. Like, I don't like Watershed. You know what I mean? Like, or anyone that might be.
Yeah.
You don't want to change it up too much.
Yeah. Yeah, usually they, you're usually trying, 10, 15, 20, 30 barrels.
Right.
Can be a fun day. Don't go back to work.
For you, yeah. Yeah. I do want to thank them. You saw this here.
Yes.
So this came along with the so I'm trying to bring this back up here. This came along with the bottle. It was a gift from Watershed. I just want to kind of boast this. It was in the picture that we put out there. This is going to be a box with kind of, what is that, crosshatch? Is that what you call that? What is that? It's not dovetail. I'm not a woodworker. You don't know? Helping me out here.
No.
Anyways,
it's
I'll
been
sound like an
30
idiot.
years since I
Shop class. But yeah, they have the lid on here. It sits on top of that. It's got a little like leather pull on that, and then inside, along with the, try to get that on the screen the right way. You got decks of cards and then dice in there. So nice little gift from them. Very cool. I don't know if they offer this to people when they're doing gifts or anything like that, but this is something that was very, very unique. What was cool about this is that, I think I told you, Nate, this is made out of the barrel wood. So this is made out of barrel staves here. So very, very thankful. Thank you to Watershed for that gift. Very, very happy. I'll pull away that banner here for you so you can see it.
Looks like a box joint.
A box joint? Is that what you're?
Yes, box joint.
Or no? You were doing research. You were doing fact checking here.
Mm-hmm. Because the dovetail is going to kind of flare out.
Yeah.
But those are straight, so it looks like a box joint.
You know, this is something, before we go to the cigar, you know, Ray, I appreciate that comment. Yeah. What'd you call that?
Box joint.
Box joint. Nice. You know, we learn a lot on this show. I know there's a little bit of sarcasm, but also a little truth here. Ray puts, I don't know about everyone else, but personally, I can't wait to get out and buy a bottle of that spearminty, dusty graham cracker, overly hot whiskey. And that is comments from myself, Nate, and also Ryan from Watershed, kind of combined there. It's interesting when you read people's reviews. If I was just going to like not search for something and just say, yep, tastes like whiskey. Next, you know what I mean? Like we're looking for some of this stuff on this, especially when it's that barrel release. You know, this is not necessarily something that is just a normal release product that's always available, like their 4-year blended or the bottled and bond, which the bottled and bond is going to change over time as well.
Bottled and bond would be closer to this, but it's 100 proof and it's 4-year. This is 6-year at 130.
Yeah. So, and Ray, to your point, it's this is one that I did. I added a couple drops of water, literally 2, to an average pour, I would say, in a Glencairn glass. I'm enjoying it more, where Nate, it seems like it actually upped the game for him a little bit.
I like
for me, it's a little bit more balanced. There's still the warmth there. I've still got a little bit more of the oak, and it's interesting that you say that, because it kind of gets me back on track, Ray, is that now this is more of with just 2 drops, literally 2 drops of water in there. It opened it up. I just did balloons with my peace sign. I didn't realize. I actually enjoy this a little bit more with the 2 drops. It's easier to drink. Proof it down just slightly. You know, slightly.
Well, and I just did a couple more drops, and it's getting closer to what you're describing for me, for my palate.
Got it. All right, let's light this cigar up. Andemic, I see, is on there. James is on there. Obviously, Ray, we're seeing Jonathan Herring out there. Looking forward to this CAO FASA review here. Before we do that, I know I'm going to keep delaying this for everyone. These bottles, so the one we have, Ace of Hearts here, is one of 6 bottles that are going to be starting to be available on the 24th of this month, and then wide release to the rest of the state. And again, not sure where they're going to be, which bottles are going to be where, but this is going to be the rest of the state on the 28th of this month. And they will be available while supplies last.
Check OHLQ.com for a list of the locations starting the 24th.
That's right.
When it comes out, check the state's website. Then it'll show you who's received it.
The first place, if it were me, and this is not something they had me say or anything like that, if it were me, I would be checking the Watershed bottle shop first. Would you? Or would you just go OHLQ and just try to dive around?
I would try OHLQ first, because I don't know if this is something that they're going to release at their bottle shop until like the 28th.
Yeah.
Or maybe they'll hold some back and then put it out later. Yeah. And we'll see. I mean, first chance to get it, if you like Watershed stuff, if you like single barrel proof stuff, starting the 24th, Go out there, try and find it. Yeah. See what you think.
I've said it before on Watershed, and nothing against anyone else in the state of Ohio, Columbus, or elsewhere in the U.S. or anything like that. The standardized pricing for the single barrels of $59.99, I really, really do appreciate that. So Ryan, if you're out there, Amy out there, and with obviously OHLQ, if you're listening, all the people involved in any aspect of the pricing of this stuff, the MSRP of being $59.99 and available to people for $59.99. This is just slightly over what we consider an average price these days for a bottle, let alone a cask strength or barrel strength. And this is a true single barrel. So the fact they're doing that, I see the opposite trend, and I'm not just blowing smoke now. Again, but this is, I see, and I don't know about you, Nate, if you agree with this or not, but I see a trend where these special release programs, they're just skyrocketed.
Oh gosh, yes.
It's like you should want to buy from us.
Yeah, well,
and that's the case. And I'm gonna give you more. It's gonna cost you more to be a part of this.
So earlier we were talking, before the show started, you and I were talking about a brand that we're going to be featuring coming up
next week,
and like a lot of their stuff that I see on our shelves is in like that $50 to $70 price point. But then once a year they come out with something that's $120. And, usually there's a lot of age and a lot of stuff that goes into it, and, people buy it. In fact, I've probably sold more of their $120 bottles than their $60 bottles. But no, I think there's a lot of brands that try and capitalize on the LTOs, limited time offers, special releases, and stuff like that. Distributors, I think, sometimes want to cash in on that as well, which that's business. I get it. But I like, brands like Watershed, some of the stuff Echo's done when we had Wes on, like some of their stuff, their special releases are in that 50 to 70. So single barrels or barrel strengths, the uncut, unfiltered, like there's a lot of stuff that we're seeing from some of these smaller distilleries that are trying to keep it in, a fairly reasonable price point.
Absolutely.
Whereas some of the big names out there, they're sitting there trying to, charge $3,000, $7,000 for stuff.
It's very specific to what you're talking about right now. And that is the case. I would definitely think that I'm talking also about some of the smaller ones on the flip side of that, right? As smaller distilleries, as they're getting bigger or putting out bigger projects and throw a finish in there, and all of a sudden the price, I'm seeing some that are, north of $100, like their special releases on a regular basis. And I'm like, I want to support some of these people, or I want to enjoy some of these things. You can't give me a special release every month or two and have it $100, $150. Like, it's just, I mean, come on, man. Like, who you like, hopefully, like, oh, you missed out on the last one. Now you can do this. But it's like, if I'm trying to get in there and enjoy this as an enthusiast and enjoy whiskey and even, support some of these companies, it's like, maybe I'm just not the demographic because I can't afford, to buy these high price dollar things that I don't know. Would you agree? What are you commenting to?
Just some of the Ray and Ryan.
Gotcha.
So Ryan kind of hit on what I had said touched on a little bit earlier about when we did barrel picks. So the state bought 6 barrels.
This we talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the state bought 6 barrels. They're not going to buy 6 barrels of stuff that, one, tastes like the regular Watershed that you can get on the shelves. Or
what's
two,
the point, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, what's the point?
Higher proof. That'd be it. But also, they're not going to pick 6 barrels that are the exact same. The last barrel pick that I did, which is coming out soon, when we were discussing what bottles to keep, what bottles to not do, one of the members from OHLQ was like, I kind of like this one because it tasted like this one. And I spoke up and I said, well, if that one tastes like this one, then why would we do both? Just pick one and get rid of the other one.
Make them feel stupid?
No, that's not why I did that.
No, but did you?
No.
Okay.
No.
Hope not.
That person values my opinion when it comes to tasting whiskey. Yeah. The business side of it, they got that down.
Yeah.
But no, but that's kind of the point. Like, if you're reading a description, or if there's someone out there who's trying to get all the different barrels of a set, and they're tasting them, they're like, well, wait a minute, these two taste the same. They're going to feel like they got had a little bit, because then they feel like they're, spending $60 or $120 on two bottles that are the exact same, but we're told they were single barrel.
Good point. Solid point. And Demic corrects OHLQ, not the state.
Sorry.
We all know what you meant, I think.
Yeah.
All right. CAO FASA, before we continue down this path here. Definitely, again, thank you to Watershed for sending this sample to us that we can absolutely try to continue to enjoy. So we're smoking the CAO FASA. CAO has had quite... Jonathan Herring's out there, so I don't know, Jonathan, who's listening from your company, but I seem to put my foot in my mouth on this one. But I'm going to be honest, just like we normally are here on this one. CAO's had quite the journey, right? This is...
Yes.
CAO was formed and founded by the Osgener family. And
Jono
A.
Osgener.
And that's what CAO stands for, Jono A. Osgener. Then obviously, so they sold out, or he sold the company to General, who still owns it today. You had, and if you go back to further episodes back several years, you had a master blender there, Ricky Rodriguez, that was working with CAO for a while there. And some of the ones that you love from CAO before now was either Ricky inspired or the Osgener family inspired, right? And the old CAO. Jonathan says he's listening closely, which I appreciate. CAO has, again, so Ricky Rodriguez has branched out a couple years back, and now CAO doesn't have a brand ambassador. Still a solid brand. You still have some of the favorites, like I said, Ricky's and the Osgener family ones. CAO Brasilia, I think, from my understanding, is probably still their number one seller. And then you have the Flathead up there with it, the highly rated Flathead, which was a Ricky blend or Ricky inspired blend. So this is where you've got this long path of a company that a lot of cigar smokers recognize, CAO.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a recognizable brand name at this point, which is why General obviously bought it. And this is, fast forward to today, they are releasing new blends under the CAO, the name here. So
I'm glad that's one brand that they bought and kept around.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. I think it was I mean, you can't get rid of the CAO Brasilia. You can't.
So that's the thing. Like, I think 8 out of the first 9 cigars CAO released were 90 points or higher in Cigar Aficionado.
Yeah, well,
I mean, they were making
carries so much weight, right?
Well, in terms of cigar publications, that's the big one.
Yeah.
And I mean, so they were fantastic cigars. They were one of the first brands I started smoking when I got into cigars. It was the very first cigar event I ever went to, was a CAO event. The rep was Miguel, who's now with Crowned Heads. And also at that event was Eileen Osgener, the daughter of Jono.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's one of those brands, like, that was one of those I first got into. So that's kind of the history, like, for me personally. Like, they started out doing a lot of pipes and pipe tobacco in, I think, 68. But I think it's one of those brands that, because they started off as like that small family company and then grew to what they were, like, I think that's one of the reasons why that brand's been popular with cigar smokers is.
And they're good cigars.
Yes.
I mean, they were very creative in some of the packaging. They were very creative back in the day, that everyone talks about that CAO vision, right? So that was the one that had the neon lights or the light up boxes and all that stuff. So, I mean, they were a standout brand. They're based out of the Nashville area back then too, correct?
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is something like a little bit close to home, the Midwest there. So let's get to the CAO. So this one here, now this is the orange. There's 2 FASAs. You've got the Sol, which we're smoking tonight, and at some later date, we'll be smoking this CAO FASA Noche. Totally different blends. And Jonathan Herring says FASA, because that's been the question that keeps coming across the thing. Are you, man, that is long. Holy shit.
You want me to read it?
Sure, go ahead.
So
I feel like he cut and paste this. I don't think he just typed this out.
Probably.
No offense, Jonathan. I don't think you just sat there and typed this off of memory here. If you did, you're very good at your job.
In the comments, Jonathan Herring posted. So he actually spoke to.
It's going to block us while you say
to Ed Lehman, who blended this cigar.
Can't see. Hey guys,
I'm Kilroy.
Cheers.
I did it because I was thinking about all the phases that cigar smokers go through on their journey. We usually have to go through that discovery phase to get to things you like. Similar to the bourbon journey, got to drink and learn a lot before you become somewhat knowledgeable. So Sol and Noche, so sun and night.
Sun and night. Phase.
No R.
Sorry. I was pouring while you were talking. Do you want to leave it up there the rest of the show, you think?
Nope.
All right. So this one here, the wrapper. This is a, and I think I'm going to say this right, Honduran Olancho San Agustin. This is a similar wrapper, and Jonathan, if you're out there listening right now, please let us know if we're saying this incorrectly, but very similar, oddly enough, with the orange color. A sister cigar from a sister brand. The Macanudo Inspirado Orange, I believe, has a very similar wrapper to this.
Oh.
Don't know if that's tying in there, but interesting enough as well. So you have the Honduran Olancho wrapper. You have the Cameroon binder.
Ooh, I
know you're throwing a little curveball there. And then Dominican and Nicaraguan filler. So they're not very specific on there. They did this whole thing here. I wish we had a zoom. You guys can't see that very well. Put it in front of my face. No. That's what StreamYard, if you're listening, put a zoom feature in there. Great. They put this whole package together, little shelf talker type thing here with a lot of information here, which I think that General Cigars is pretty good at, right?
Yeah.
All the cigar companies out there, they really kind of throw out their own stories, their own whatever it is. And I feel like some of them go through moods on how they want to describe their stuff. But this one here, their catchphrase is the perfect blend, day or night.
Oh,
not making fun. Just bear with us here. I appreciate these things, and we're not even to the cigar yet, right? I appreciate these things, and this is where I think I put my foot in my mouth.
Every now and then we go off on the marketing.
I feel like General Cigars will never sponsor this podcast, and will no longer. I mean, thank you for sending us these cigars while you will. I'm going to tell you what I get out of this, and then I'm going to read it the way they wrote it. Okay.
All right. I'm looking
forward
to this.
So this is a cigar that really kind of pays homage to the tobacco heritage of Honduras. And it also shows some of the blending strengths of CAO. Okay. So that's what I'm saying.
Oh, that's what
I'm saying. And then I'm going to tell you how they say it. Why?
You said Honduran tobacco.
Yeah, with the wrapper.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going off of this a little bit, but paraphrasing.
All right. That's why I was looking at the card like, what was the wrapper again on that?
Honduran.
Okay.
Yeah, that's this San Agustin. Balanced, good construction, or impeccable, as they say. But this is one that's going to be kind of that medium-bodied, hit every palate type of a cigar. That's it. Yeah, that's all I got out of this. This is why I don't get paid the big bucks. This is how they describe it out there. Ready? Do you want to hear this?
In the Steve Crane voice. Absolutely, I do.
It's the only voice I have.
Gather around the speakers, ladies and gentlemen. Grab your kiddos. It's bedtime stories with Steve Crane.
The CAO FASA Sol emerges as a cigar that not only pays homage to the rich tobacco heritage of Honduras, but also showcases the blending prowess of CAO. Its intricate flavor profile, balanced strength, and impeccable construction make it a compelling choice for anyone seeking a refined and satisfying smoke. Whether you're a seasoned aficionado or a newcomer looking for an exceptional cigar, FASA Sol offers a blend that meets and exceeds expectations, making it a worthy addition to the repertoire of any smoker.
Okay.
Thoughts?
Standout.
They do have this here. They classify as medium, the origin, so it's made in Honduras. They have sensory notes and then they have pairings.
So I definitely get medium body.
Yeah,
agree with that 100%.
Augustine.
Yeah, you had it right the first time. The last time you said Augustine, you put the emphasis on the wrong syllable. Syllable. So I can't think of too many cigars that I've smoked that have that kind of wrapper on them.
Right.
So it's hard for me to have a memory bank of what that tobacco tastes like. So, like, to me, the way this is kind of smoking, and you said it's got a Cameroon binder.
Correct.
To me, this smokes like a Cameroon cigar. To me, it's very earthy. It's very woody, medium body. It doesn't have those rich chocolate notes.
No.
I don't get any citrus,
fruit,
no sweetness to it. Just, and we're not very far into the cigar. So far, the cigar hasn't changed for me. I'm maybe an inch into the cigar. So far, it's
how about retrohale?
I haven't done that yet.
Ooh.
I don't do it as much as you do. Like,
you do it, shot, man.
You do it, without even thinking about it.
Can't not do it.
Yeah, me.
I have to try not to do it.
I have to remind myself to do it.
Oh, I feel like you're cheating yourself a little bit there.
You know how bad it is when you're on your third cigar of the day and you're like, fuck, I haven't retrohaled anything today.
I don't know why. No, I have no idea.
Do you know how frustrating it is?
I assume very based on the way you're saying that, but I was going to say I don't know, but I mean you have more of a ritual or not always, because I've seen you just drink whiskey, but like when you're trying whiskey, you've got this whole like kind of sniff it, blow into it, get the ethanol out, do all this stuff. But when you're trying a cigar, you're just puffing
away.
You're just puffing away. I mean, I know Watershed. Thank you, CAO, and thank you, General Cigars. I know Watershed was a little bit more of the focus because obviously this is where we're kind of pushing. But you got to retrohale this.
Yeah, Sean Anderson, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. That's a Meatloaf song.
Boy, correcting people in the comments. I love it.
Very earthy in the retro. A little spice on there as well.
Yeah.
But
toastiness.
Very toasty.
Right?
Yeah, like
I'm getting more toastiness. And I can't relate to this, and I'm gonna tell you what they're saying. You're probably gonna maybe
like a charred.
They say toast.
Like a charred oak.
Yeah.
Maybe someone put the dial on the toaster a little too high.
Just a
little.
Which is okay.
Just a little.
Yeah, I like a little crunch on there sometimes. Not burn, but a little bit like you put the fork or the
nothing
the knife.
Wrong, nothing wrong with that on your toast. Definitely something wrong with that on your steak.
Yeah, I agree. I'm in the market for a new grill. The one's old. Grills aren't cheap, man. I could do the Jumbo Joe over there.
The charcoal.
It's a process, man.
Yes, it is.
That's a process.
You just want to go out there and go click, click.
Have you gone back to the whiskey?
Once.
Okay.
And I was saving that. Get a smoker. What do you think we are?
Ryan, yes, everyone says get a smoker. I'd get one of those hybrid ones. That's fine. We just don't do much smoking. We use it at least once a week, and it's usually 4. And I know a smoker would expand on this, but it's 4 steaks, and then sometimes burgers. We're gonna start doing a little bit more like chicken and chicken breasts, not like whole chickens. But I mean, even the grill I have, you could do a rotisserie thing if you wanted to. Everyone's got different purposes, and I understand that smokers are all the rage. I do understand that. Just want to grill, man. So you think this is earthy?
I do.
Okay.
Like, it reminds me of Cameroon tobacco, but no, about the whole smoking thing. So
not talk about a cigar.
One of my coworkers, she could teach you how to smoke in your oven.
I don't think I want to do that. Now, there are some grills out there that have like these little things, and I know it's not the same rind, but it's the things where you put them underneath and you put like the wood pellets or whatever, and then you start your propane grill and it starts like heating that up. It's not quite the same, but it gives you that smoked flavor, I guess. They say. All right.
They say.
This cigar, CAO FASA Sol. I agree. Medium bodied. I get more of a toastiness. I really enjoy. I don't know if that's true, Jonathan. I can pull the card out. He thinks the Sol and the Noche are the same thing. They both have Cameroon binders. I know that. But yeah, I enjoy this one. Now, I had to look it up. It's still a different blend than the Macanudo Inspirado Orange, but it did remind me of it, especially when I saw that wrapper leaf. It has, with this Cameroon binder, I wouldn't say it's got the earthiness of a Cameroon wrapper cigar that typically is blended for that wrapper. The ones I'm thinking of, some of the Fuente products, some like the Cohiba Red Dot, you got the Oliva G, you've got some of the staples in that kind of stable there. But with this one, it's got that, what you call earthiness, a little dryness, but it's kind of in the mid, not background, but it's not in the forefront. It's like sometimes on Cameroon wrap cigars. So there's a little bit more depth to this one.
I think that dryness definitely goes with what they're going for, trying to pay homage to Honduran tobacco.
Sure.
Because I get that a lot more with Honduran tobacco than Nicaraguan or Dominican tobacco.
I would get that. Yeah.
He said, according to Half Wheel, they're the same cigar with different wrappers.
That's true, according to Half Wheel. Well, I'll have to pull the card.
Have you smoked the Noche?
I have.
Is it
broadleaf?
Is it a dark? It's a broadleaf.
Yeah, broadleaf. Okay.
That makes that one's supposed to be the night darker.
Yeah.
Same style band, different color.
Correct. I have one over here. We do have some to smoke. I was thinking like doing both tonight, but I'm like, no, we'll maybe do. Maybe do it next week with that one. Since we're gonna do we'll post all this stuff. We're gonna have an early episode next week. I don't know if that's gonna be good for some of our loyal followers here, loyal listeners, but we will be starting at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next week, due to the interview availability of our special guest. So maybe we'll get we'll do mostly the whiskey first, and then we'll kick over to the CAO Noche if you want to do that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Back-to-back episodes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, anytime we have a guest on with, whether it be someone in the cigar industry or someone in the spirit industry, we want to highlight them and that product while we have them. And then when that person's gone, we can talk about the other side of it as much as we want. The
retrohale on this cigar is what sells me on this cigar. So if you don't retrohale, I would still. Have you done it yet?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, that's right. You did. Yeah. It's got just this nice, again, we talked about like toasty, little bit of spice to it. It's just a nice, pleasant kind of woody toastiness to it. You know what I mean? It's kind of nice. Speaking of the smokers and stuff like that, it kind of reminds me. No, it does. It reminds me of
like almost smoked mesquite.
Yeah.
Or hickory.
Hickory, mesquite. Yeah, absolutely. That's what it reminds me of right now. So, yeah. Wow. It's interesting where these conversations go sometimes. I'm surprised anyone listens to us.
And I like how they did the little crescent moon cutout on the band.
Yeah.
It's cute. But
I like it.
One thing I will give credit to General Cigars for, they've owned the CAO brand now for quite a while. And I still like the fact that they have kept the
original
CAO logo.
Can't get rid of that.
The same font as it's always been.
Can't get rid of it, dude.
Thank you at least for that. Thank you. Because
solid cigars, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Solid cigars always. The MSRP, Jonathan, you're going to throw it out there, but my understanding. So they made 2 sizes of this.
This and the 60.
That's correct.
Okay.
Toro and a 60.
Because you said Tinderbox has the 60.
Toro and a 60. The only releases for these 2 blends. This is again the FASA Sol, and you are definitely sub $10 on this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which I think falls in line with what this is me, what I foresee CAO doing going forward. This is, and I don't know, but now that Ricky's not involved with it, and I think they had these. I feel as though I'm going to see the CAOs sticking around that average or below average price range with some of their releases. General and Forged have so many different brands in their portfolio that they literally split it in 2, and then you have to pick. Now, the only thing I'll say is that this is going to be above. They really made a difference or a differential here with the Punch brand. That's the lower. This is going to, I think, going to stay above that a little bit. But I mean, releasing these, I mean,
because they have the Flathead series, you have to keep that.
Flatheads are up there though now, not up there, but they're average. You know,
depending on the size, you're in that $10 to $14 price point with those
MSRPs. You're going to be shocked.
But I think with that cigar, like that cigar in their portfolio, deserves to be $7.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're flirting with the Punch prices there on this one. So I don't know. We'll see what comes with the CAO brand going forward. But I think is going to come up in your ratings, Nate. Mine as well. But when we go to the ratings here, I feel as though you're going to see $6.99, $7.99 MSRP. Obviously, with tobacco tax, depending on where you're at, including Ohio, that'll be a little bit higher on the shelf there because of the tobacco tax. But that's the MSRP before tobacco tax. $6.99 for this Toro and $7.99 for the Gigante. The only 2 sizes that they make on this, and that goes for the Sol and also the Noche.
I'll tell you what. For what this cigar tastes like and the way it smokes, at that price point, like the first thing that came to my mind when you dropped that price point on me, I started comparing this to another cigar.
What cigar?
The Fuente Hemingway series.
Half the price.
Which is
about half the price.
The short story is now $9-10.
Correct.
For the short story. So if I want to smoke something that tastes like a short story, I'll buy this.
Right.
Because it's a longer smoke.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Now, if I need a 20-minute smoke, okay, short story. But for fuck's sake, for this cigar at that price point, like, all right.
I'm going to be critical here, Jonathan, and I think I saw someone else from you guys. I'm trying to remember who I saw chime in here. I think it was who I don't know who it was. It's gone now. Would have liked to see a 5x50. Give me a 5x50 at $6.99 for that short story.
Oh, yeah.
Right? At 20 minutes. You like short story? Oh, we're out of those because sometimes it's hard to get in.
That is true.
I have this FASA Sol over here you might like.
Yeah, without spending, $15-20 on a Cohiba Red Dot.
$7. Yeah. All right. So let's round this out here. And anyone in the comments, I'm gonna need a little bit. We posted this as we're gonna do lightning round and no one really participated. So we may not have a very long round or part 2 tonight. So you're gonna hear us just blather about this. We had a couple of things here. So on the feed, and we're going to have to be good at this, trying to find it. If you could start the comment with topic idea, or better yet, lightning round, and then put your question and what we should talk about. See what kind of live participation we can get. What do you think?
Oh, that works.
Do you think you're going to get some?
I think the
people out there.
I think the people we have online are opinionated enough that they'll drop some ideas.
So it's definitely opinionated enough. Whether or not they want to talk about anything tonight, or if they're done for the night, we're going to find out here though. So let's go into that's your request from us guys as we get toward the end of part 1 here, where we do the ratings here. So this is rating time: the whiskey, the cigar, and the pairing. I'm going to remind everyone right here. We'll do it. Sorry to be a broken record, because they sent us this sample. So kind to do it. We are going to review this project one more time. There are 6 barrel releases coming out in the state of Ohio between Watershed and OHLQ. The one we have here is the Ace of Hearts. It's the Royal Flush, including a Joker's Wild.
So 10 Jack, Queen, King, Ace, Joker's Wild.
All we know is what we have here tonight. And 72 corn.
72, 21, 7.
Right. Rye, malted barley there. So these will be released in limited quantities on June 24th. Then they're going to be released on June 28th to the masses. And there are, what do you say, 180 to 200
bottles
per
barrel.
Yeah. So you're at 1,200, call it best, overall bottles there.
Yeah.
So guys, hopefully check that out. And
I'm curious as to why they went with the hearts as the suit. That'd be an interesting one.
Romance, I don't know.
That could be. For the love of whiskey.
Ooh. That's the one right there. All right, whiskey cigar. We already have Adrian out there. He's going to be, and David Welsh. I don't know if Ryan Venrick. We lost some of the whiskey people. I think once we switched over to cigars. So appreciate the cigar people waiting for us to get to the cigar. But wonder if the Ace is the highest proof. I don't know. If it were me, it would be cool to see it progress there. And the Joker's Wild is just like 140.
A hazmat bottle.
Or you go the other way and it's like a 90.
Oh, single barrel?
No way, you're right. No.
It's barrel proof.
115?
Well, I mean, whatever the barrel comes out, but yeah.
I know. Just saying. I was saying like Joker's Wild.
Ryan said he can't confirm or deny. I think we're on to something, maybe. But, well, okay. So to speculate, if that is the case, and we have the Ace, that would mean this would be the highest proof of the first 5.
It's going to be real close, I think. It's like 125 to 130 there, I think.
That would be funny if it's like 126, 127, 128, 129, 130.
135. Joker's Wild.
142.
Brian says, sorry, boys, collect them all. All right.
They're not Pokemon.
All right. No, I know. All right. So, Nate, whiskey, cigar, and the pairing, best out of 10 for all 3 of them. What do you got?
So, anyone who knows me knows I love Watershed products. Steve had reached out to me before, and he's like, hey, do you have any regular Watershed? And I went down and looked at my cabinet. It's like, no, it's
we got to get better at that, by the way.
It's just special Watershed stuff. It's the fall finishing series and like the Nochino barrel. And
I've got the uncut, unfiltered.
Yeah.
I've got, I think, still the Zinfandel.
Oh, nice.
A little bit of that. I got this much of the black bottle.
Me too.
Yeah, that's a.
I was like, well, the closest I have to this, I think, is the Whiskey Business single barrel pick.
We need to get better at getting. I need to keep one of the 4-year blended or the. I mean, I did have the old fashioned, but you know how that lasts around here, not very long.
A day.
It's
I've got the black walnut old
longer than a day these days. But all right, so
so on this product, like this is still something that, like, if I went to Watershed's bottle shop and I tasted a couple of the different single barrels that they were offering there,
yeah,
like this is still something that I'm going to buy. Like, because I think, and we talked on it earlier, I think Watershed stuff coming in at that $59.99 price point for a single barrel, 6-year, 39 days, single barrel strength. I think that's a great product. So for me, this is going to fall in line with a lot of their other stuff that I've had from them. This is going to be a 9 for me. I
got it.
I do enjoy this bottle.
What with drops or neat? Both kind of neat, but you know what I mean, with or without drops.
So the pour I have right now is without drops, and I think it's better this time around.
Palate's a little more used to it. It's got a little shock to it, right?
Yeah, I mean it's a good bottle, not as complex as some of the other bottles I've had from Watershed, but still, I mean, 130 proof single barrel, $60. Yeah, I'll buy that. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't pass it if my store got one of these in, whatever it was. I'm like, yep, I'll take one.
No matter what the card.
Wouldn't matter what the card was.
Cool.
Wouldn't matter what the card was. I'd still buy it.
Nice.
When we got the uncut, unfiltered batch 2, even though you and I had both tried it, like,
yeah,
yep, I still bought one, like, because it's a damn good product. I like their stuff.
I would agree.
The cigar. So I'm glad the cigar is at the price point it is. For me, it's not the most. It's not a very complex cigar. I'm about halfway through it. It's been pretty one-dimensional, but it's still been a solid smoke. And I like Cameroon. I like, even though my favorites are cigars that are a little richer, like Maduros, heavier, that dark chocolate, espresso, full body smokes is what I typically gravitate towards.
You're a coffee drinker.
I'm a black coffee and espresso drinker.
Right.
Yes. Had espresso before I came here.
I can tell. Just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
But no, that's usually what my flavor profile is. This is still a very enjoyable smoke because I can't spend, like, on days where I'm smoking multiple cigars, I can't sit there and smoke the strongest, heaviest stuff I have, 4-5 sticks, and that be it. Because otherwise they're all going to get washed out.
Sure.
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
This is a good medium body, earthy. I like Cameroon, so I like the taste of this cigar. But like I said, it's not necessarily as rich and complex as some other stuff I like. I still think it's a very solid cigar, and at that price point, I'll give the cigar an 8.
What is it? $6.99, $7.99, right?
Which, let's face it, I mean, a cigar comes out $7-8. You're not necessarily expecting to be blown away.
And what'd you rate it? I'm sorry.
8.
Ooh, 9 and an 8.
Yes.
Let's hear the pairing here.
So, the first time I went back from the cigar to the whiskey was whiskey that had a couple drops in it. This one, no drops of water. And what I like is those initial flavors that originally on this whiskey were kind of short and fleeting. They're a little bit more pronounced. The initial flavors kind of hang around a little bit more. And I get a little bit more of a vanilla to the whiskey than I did before.
Yeah.
And so I think these go from cigar to whiskey. I think they go well together. I think whiskey to cigar, which I'm about ready to do, I don't expect is going to go as well because of the lingering finish on the whiskey.
Yeah.
This whiskey, that kind of spicy, that spice kind of hangs around quite a bit. So I'm pretty sure when I take a drink of whiskey and then go to the cigar, it's going to light my mouth on fire.
Silence. Wait for it. Whiskey, cigar, cannonball coming. Let's go.
Holy shit. It doesn't.
Yeah. I was waiting.
Wait. that's oh God, that's fucking weird. Like I was expecting to
cigar stands up.
It does. I was
Yeah.
expecting that going from 130 proof to then smoking this cigar, which again has that kind of dryness to it that I expect from this. I was expecting my palate to just get lit up, and it didn't do it.
Nope.
Which, and this whiskey I think is a lot stronger than this cigar, but yet somehow cigar to whiskey, more sweetness on the whiskey. Whiskey to cigar doesn't impact the cigar.
What's the rating?
Because it doesn't light my mouth on fire going the other way, and it's more enjoyable the other way, I'll give the pairing a 9. That's it. I mean, because
I think the heat's getting to you. Honestly. The heat has to be getting to you.
Of the whiskey or outside?
Outside. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes and yes.
No, that is not what I was expecting. So I'm surprised, but pleasantly surprised. Because now I can go cigar to whiskey and be like, cool, this is going to highlight some of the sweetness I didn't pick up on the whiskey.
Yep.
But now I have no fear whatsoever taking a sip of whiskey and going right back to the cigar. I'm not worried about that at all.
Not at all.
Which, again, is not what I was expecting.
It's impressive, right?
And we've done this enough to where there's a lot of times where because you and I have drank enough whiskey and smoked enough cigars, sometimes we
define enough.
Because of doing this show, we've had enough experience going back and forth.
I want to define that.
I mean, we'll never drink enough.
But we've definitely drank enough before.
But no, like, I mean, to still be kind of surprised at a pairing after this long, I'm happy with that.
See what I'm doing on the screen there? The light blue ones.
Oh.
Yeah, so these are the ones we have to go back to here. So I want to scroll back up. So I might need your help with my vision here.
I like that.
All right. Let's go. So whiskey. This is, once again, the Watershed. This is a single barrel strength. This is part of the Royal Flush series from Watershed and OHLQ, available only in Ohio. This is going to be available starting the 24th, so very soon, 5 days from now, less than 5 days from now. And then it's going to be available widely in the state of Ohio on the 28th. This is the Ace of Hearts. I think this is clearly a sipper at 130 proof.
Yeah.
This is a nightcap type of a thing, or try something different, right? This is something that if you want to kind of go through what you have in your own bar, or if you go, I would assume they didn't tell us this, but I would assume if you go to Watershed here in the Grandview area in Columbus, Ohio, you're going to be able to try some of these.
Maybe.
I would assume. Maybe. Normally, there's some at the bar, sometimes, at least for a while.
Sometimes they hang on to a few bottles just in case.
I forget if I posted this or not. I think I might have sent it to you, but I was at Cento, which is one of Cameron Mitchell's restaurants, and they had some of the what?
No, go ahead.
I feel like you ruined the story a little bit, but they had some of the fall finishing series stuff there.
Oh, yeah.
And I had, they were making some great old fashions. And I said, how much would it be to do what they were doing for the old fashioned with that? Because they were using old fashioned on Manhattan. I forget. I think it was old fashioned, but they were using Nocino.
The Nocino finish?
They were spray bottling this. Spritzing it.
Elaborate.
Spray bottle, little guy, perfumed style. It's a high-end bar.
Oh, no, I'm familiar with Cento.
You were laughing at
I know the GM.
Oh, okay. Anyways, so I had a couple and had it with the fall finishing series. That was a good old-fashioned. It was a great cocktail, I got to be honest. Because they had the Nocino finished one as well. And then she poured me with the fall finishing one. I forget which one. It was the maple syrup one.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. So maple syrup, and I had one with the Nocino barrel finished. If you want a good cocktail, we did this with the, remember that when we had Ann and everyone over here?
Yes.
And we were doing it with the bourbon and the Nocino.
So we ran out of the Nocino finished bourbon.
So we just started making cocktails with Nocino.
We literally took the regular bourbon and added Nocino to it.
All right. So with this one, I'm a fan of it. It's I'll give this one a little lower, 8.5. I think this is something. It's not for everyone. For me, I like it. It's a little hot. I enjoyed it, I think, more with literally 2 drops of water in it. But you can't beat, again, a special product like this for $59.99. You just can't. So 8.5 on the whiskey. I'm excited to try the other 5 barrels because this is one that obviously piqued my interest a little bit. Cigar, in a similar note, not going to go price point first, but I was very, very interested in what you had to say about this cigar, especially before you knew the price of this one, Nate.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate you commenting on that. I'm surprised you rated it as high as you did, just knowing your flavor profile there. But construction on this is pretty fantastic, I would say.
Oh yeah, construction
is great. And I do want to bring up the price point when you're talking about a Toro that is MSRP $6.99. When you go down, let's call it $2 less at $4.99, you're approaching bundled cigar pricing.
Yeah.
So for $2 more, you're at this with great construction. I like the flavor. I like the woodiness. I like the toastiness. I'm going to give this cigar also an 8.5.
Okay.
For all things considered, along with the cigar price, I think for $6.99, call it $7 to $8 for the cigar in most places. It's going to be a tough one to really beat. This one, and I've smoked the Noche. We'll talk about it next week. But this one, I've had a couple of them. Construction's been on point every time.
This is the first one I've smoked because the only size the Tinder Box carries is the 660. And I'm normally not a 660 guy.
Okay.
So like Robusto, Toro, Corona Gorda, or like Crown Heads, double Robusto, that's 6.5 by 50. Lanceros, like that's kind of where I am. Those thinner ring gauges. I don't typically smoke more than 54 or 56.
Yeah.
So I didn't want my first experience with this cigar to be that 6x60, just because that's not a size I typically enjoy as much.
Trying to miss if I missed anything for topics. I see conversation going on, but I don't think it's topics yet. The pairing, I'm a solid 8.5 across the board.
Okay.
I was shocked that the cigar stood up to this bottle. I think this bottle was at 130 proof. I thought this was going to, I don't want to say destroy the cigar, but I didn't think it was going to stand up to it. But I wanted to feature a new cigar on the show tonight. So that's why we picked the CAO FASA Sol. It was very interesting to me that this paired very well. I think the cigar actually toned down the whiskey a little bit when you go from cigar to whiskey. And the whiskey to the cigar, I think it amped up the flavor profile on the FASA Sol.
Okay.
I think it went back and forth very, very nice. So that's it. That's what I think. I want to thank you guys for listening to part one. We're going to part two. We do have some what we call lightning round, basically just as I'll put the topic out there is I think I put is anyone out there, anyone listening or something like that. But I want to thank, obviously, our you guys out there, patreon.com/Bourbon and BS podcast, or on Venmo. You can do that at Bourbon and BS. I want to thank our sponsors, Tinder Box at Easton. This CAO FASA Sol is available at Tinder Box at Easton. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, it is available only in the 6x60 size. This is done better than they thought, and this has been blown up across the country so far. And Jonathan even said it's been selling very well. They, to my knowledge, projected, there was a question, should we project and produce for, I think it was like 6 months or 9 months, and they said, let's, with everything coming out, let's do 6, something along that. Should have done 9. They should have upped it.
How long did it take them to sell out?
By the time we weren't at PCA, but by the time our rep came to the shop, we ordered, he had samples, and he said, we're already sold out. We only have the 6x60 in the Sol right now. So that was within weeks.
When did he come into the shop and you ordered?
It was within a few weeks after the show.
So within a
late
month,
April.
So within a month
Late
of
April.
the PCA, they were already sold out.
Good for them. Good problem to have.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Good problem to have. I understand that. So
absolutely.
But Tinder Box Easton does have the 6x60s currently. It's sold well so far. We're hoping to get the Noche in as well, and the Sols in this size that we're smoking now, which is the Toro. I want to thank Altadis USA. We're going to be lighting up in the second part of the show, the Upman Nicaragua by AJ Fernandez. Great cigar. We've had it on the show several times before. Thank you, Altadis USA, for the continued support. Be a Cigar Company, the gold and silver are available as well. And if you like Nate's shirt especially, it's a little worn out. That was a prototype. All right. The new ones hold their logos a little bit more.
Yes, they do.
A little bit better. I've got a prototype on. If you want to see this ringer shirt out there, I need to hear feedback. Hit us up on the Bourbon and BS podcast that you want to see the BS cigar ringer, or potentially pour one more, light up another. We'll figure this out together with a black and white ringer.
Well, so that's the thing I like about that ringer shirt is the stark contrast of the black and white. Like, it's great.
It pops.
It really does. Because we have one with the same logo that's red with the silver, or well, more than one, but
no focus on. So this is just pure logo here.
It says focus on silver lining,
which I love that.
It's an ode to the BS silver,
right?
But like that gray on the red, of course, great marketing here in Columbus for those two colors. But yeah, the combination of those two, it's just
can't go wrong with black and white, right?
Worked well in TV for many years.
Absolutely, guys. Cheers. Happy Whiskey Wednesday. I've got a little left. We're going to go into part 2 here. Quick intermission. If you're listening on the audio, please click over to part 2. And if you're listening live, we are asking, I'm going to put my comment if I can find it here. We want to hear what you want to talk about in part 2. So please, please, please comment in the section on Facebook if you're listening live. Part 2 questions and topics. Mark it down. We appreciate if you do either part 2 before it or a lightning round so we can differentiate as we scroll back through the comments. Have a great week, guys. We'll see you next week. Early podcast if you're listening live next week, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Cheers.
And why are we doing a 6 o'clock show next week?
That's when the guest is available.
And it's going to be from a...
You know, I had to look it up.
From a whiskey brand?
Correct.
Yeah.
Whiskey Focus. Just got a text. You got it too.
Yep, me too.
Ryan, we got you. Absolutely. In fact, we're trying to line up Greg. We're supposed to have it. We had the Guy Fieri night that night. We were supposed to have Greg on the show. And sadly, I mean, it was... I don't want to say Guy's bigger than Greg, but it paid. Guy is a little bit bigger than Greg. Love Greg, but it was that
event was taking place at your job.
That pays. That
it was taking place at the job
bills.
That pays
the bills.
Yeah,
yeah.
The podcast, it pays to do the podcast.
Yeah. That was, and we had 5 days notice on that one. So
yes, and it was a great time. It was a great event. I think it ran really well. I think there were a lot of people that were overly anxious.
You know, absolutely. Jonathan, the collar's a little wide because I was sweating before. In fact, we had an incident. It's not normally that wide, all right? Sorry. It's a little damp out here, man. Sleeves would look great on you, Jonathan, especially with that workout you're doing. I saw. Yeah, he's been hitting the gym. Jonathan Herring. Fucking 2.0 coming at you.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Jonathan Herring 2.0 coming at you. In fact, I think that would look really good on you, man. To use the wide angle next time he's in the garage, man, because it's going to be.
So he's starting to look more like you than me.
I mean, don't say it like that. I didn't mean it like that. I just.
I'm the one that said it.
You're looking great too. You lost a lot of weight this last year, man. 2.0 Nate Hale right here. Right? I mean, that's where we're at. I love it. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm trying to get back to my Steve Crane 2.0 that a couple years back. So we'll get there. Take a little bit more before we start. Please, sir. You surprised me on that.
Why did I surprise you on when I gave it an 8? You thought I was going to go higher or lower?
Lower.
Why? So I'll tell you, 8 included that price point.
I know.
Like
it probably jumped a couple.
Like, yeah, because initially just
But you like Cameroon, but you know
this cigar stand out on its own as much as I do like Cameroon. So I enjoy smoking Cameroon cigars because I do like that flavor profile. But most Cameroon cigars that I smoke fall in that 7 category.
Oh, okay. Now Jonathan's got me all worried about my neck here.
Probably one of the best, the 2 best Cameroon cigars I've ever smoked Number 2 was the original CAO anniversary Cameroon. That was
great cigar.
That was a fantastic cigar. Absolutely loved it. There was the Cameroon, the Maduro, and the Extreme. For the longest time, the Extreme was my absolute favorite cigar ever.
Nice.
That cigar, the original, because now they make a cigar called the CAO Extreme. It's not the same as what it was when CAO was CAO.
I didn't know they still made that.
It's an online.
Oh, well, fuck that.
Yeah.
No offense.
But that original CAO Extreme with that simple, plain brown band was my absolute favorite cigar ever. And then several years ago, I came to the realization, because working in the industry, I get asked a lot of times, hey, what's your favorite cigar?
Yeah.
It makes no point if my favorite cigar is something that's been discontinued for 10, 15 years.
Especially if you can't get it, so it's no longer your favorite cigar.
Yeah.
If they say, what was your favorite cigar ever?
That one would be up there. If it was ever all time, that one would be. But from what's available,
right?
It made no sense to have that. When someone asked me, what's your favorite cigar? Oh, it's the original CAO Extreme. They stopped making that 15 years ago. That's a shitty answer. That is when,
as a retailer, it's a shitty answer. As someone just talking, that's okay. Problem is you rep the industry, so
yeah. So that's why a few years ago I changed and made my number 1 something that comes out now, and
that's good.
It comes from our sponsor. It's the Monte Cristo 1935 anniversary.
Ooh, you know what though? We're gonna have part 2 here, but you know it's coming out soon. It was a very highly rated one on this show. H. Upman, 180th.
The 175 was
so good.
The 170.
The 180th, from my understanding, I don't know what the blend is. I didn't see it yet, but we were talking today about it, and it's been sitting for 5 years.
Oh.
So we'll see what's happening. See, stop it. That's gross.
No, the 175 was freaking amazing.
That's agreed. That's what I told you. All right, so let's go. You guys have anything else you want us to talk about? I've got some of these ones highlighted, and laser light show going on right now. Again, going forward, we're gonna be talking. So if you could, I don't know what that says there. I can't read that. Adrian out there.
Part 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, 1.6.
I don't know if he's enjoying it or if he's just I don't know. Love you, Adrian. Appreciate that. If you guys have any topics you want us to talk about, give us a little, like I said, topic, idea, or lightning round, part 2, whatever, before you put it out there so we don't miss it if we can. And we'll do our best to do that. Copy and paste if we're looking for it later on. But we're going to get started here. And boom. You ready?
Yes.
That's the topic.
Pink Floyd.
Yeah. Welcome back to the Bourbon and BS podcast, everyone. This is episode 319, part 2, and we are still enjoying the Watershed Ace of Hearts. This is going to be a bottle that is available on the 24th, limited at the 24th, and then also widely available in the state of Ohio on the 28th. This is one of 6 different barrels that are going to be available. Royal Flush, including the Joker. Go ahead.
And I might be, if my store gets one of these single barrels, I might be disappointed if we get the exact same one that Watershed gave us, only because I've already had it. I want to try a different one.
Well, you have to go elsewhere.
If my store gets one of the others, I'm definitely buying a bottle.
That's fair. That's fair. All right. So anyone out there, that's the topic tonight. I want to thank our sponsors, Tinder Box at Easton, Columbus, Ohio. They do have the featured cigar tonight, which is the CAO Sol, the FASA Sol. and it's in the 6x60 right now. The other size that we're smoking tonight will be available hopefully soon once CAO and General Cigars catches up with the demand on that one. And also the Noche, I think we talked about it. We're going to be reviewing that next week. And so that is the day and night. So we're going to be doing that next week. So it's tune in next week, early time.
Early.
6 p.m. Eastern. And we will be focusing on the whiskey, depending on what we get. I don't know. It's going to be in the mail. So hopefully we'll get it before then. Else that'll be an interesting conversation.
Well, if not,
Aaron has never let us down in the past.
Yeah. If it doesn't show up, I'll have to make a stop by work on my way here.
We'll find something. We're going to make it happen. So tune in next week. But I want to thank Tinder Box at Easton out there. Also, Altadis USA. We've got a H. Upman, Nicaragua by AJ Fernandez with the teal band. That's going to be on deck here. Thank you, Altadis USA, for the continued sponsorship there. And then also BS Cigar Company, Gold and Silver are now available in the Columbus area. If you guys want to try those, just reach out to either Tinder Box at Easton or BS Cigar Company, and they can get you out there. We do ship a lot of BS cigars, the gold and silver. So
you do. I make people come in and buy them.
I know. Yeah, Carfagnas has them, Royal has them, and also obviously Tinder Box at Easton has them. So thank you very much. We talked about that. Buyjack.com/bourbon and BS. That's where you can find our swag. Been kind of saying tonight, the shirt I have on, you've got the old G that did not last, so we changed the way we print them off, and they do last now. I can vouch for that.
Yes.
They do not fade.
Yes.
Pour one more, light up another. We'll figure this out together. I've got the BS Cigar Ringer shirt.
The only thing this one had in its favor,
the logo on the back.
Was the logo on the back,
which is also fading. That's the problem. But you're right. Buyjack.com/bourbon and BS for any of the shirts, any of the swag like that. So we appreciate you guys supporting us that way. And obviously patreon.com/bourbon and BS podcast, or at Venmo at Bourbon and BS. Tonight we're going to be, as I said, anyone out there, we do have some live listeners right now, and hopefully you guys will share, review, like, and get other people involved in this. But
I actually put this shirt on because we were planning on a road trip today, but our day started a little bit later. And I was like, okay, if we're going to do this, we have to go like there, do what we came to, and then head back. And Jess was like, well, no, I also want to go to this place and do this. And I was like, yep, we're not going to have that kind of time. Like, all right, well, we'll pick a different Wednesday.
Oh, Jonathan Herring. Let's just.
Oh,
I don't know if I want to tackle that one.
Jonathan have a banger coming out of the gate?
I'll let you handle it. I don't know. My significant other's listening right now.
What does your significant other do that bothers you the most?
The sad part is I meant to star that, not put it on the screen, but it's out there now. Nate, go ahead.
Well, I was about to say, I'm married. I can answer that.
And I'm going to put this out there. If Jess is listening, for once, don't text Nate. Put it on the feed. I'd love to put it on the screen right now. And Kristen, if you're listening, go ahead and throw it up there. Anyone out there, Ray, Jonathan, Sean, Adrian out there, go ahead. Go ahead.
So, to an extent, and I'm going to use today as an example, certain communication issues.
True, that's a tough one.
So Jess had wanted to do something. It was going to involve making a 2-hour drive. And I was like, all right, yeah, we can do that. And then I did stay up a little late. I give you that. But woke up and like at any point she can wake me up and be like, hey, you ready to go do it? I'm like, all right. Yep, I got 6 hours of sleep. We can go do that. Sure. Make a 2-hour drive, go do something, drive 2 hours back. Okay, I can handle that. Done it before. Driving doesn't really take a whole lot out of me. But then we sat in bed and she's, sitting there looking at her phone for a while. I'm like, all right, I'm going to get up. I get ready. All right. And then like, hey, want to do this? Okay. Well, it's 2 hours there, 2 hours back. And then
where were you going?
Dover.
For what?
Sharpen steak knives. And
to purchase sharpened steak knives or to sharpen your steak knives?
Both. So the steak knives that we use every Steak and Wine Sunday are from a cutlery place up in Dover, Ohio. And they recommend that you don't sit there and like use a at-home knife sharpener.
Yeah. Do they charge for this service?
I don't know.
Okay. I assume they do if they recommend that.
But when it comes to just, I'm not really worried about that.
No, I'm just saying that business side, you buy steak knives that would last a lifetime. Well, they don't have any. You don't have repeat business if you don't get them back up there, right?
So, the plan was go there and then also buy like a knife block because we've got a few of those plus a kitchen knife from them as well. They're gorgeous knives. And I was like, okay, we got about enough time because gotta get ready to do the podcast. So got to be able to eat dinner and stuff like that before
with dull knives.
So I was like, all right, yeah, we can go up there and do that, but then we got to come right back. Yeah. Well, she had also wanted to visit a winery that's in Dover because in the past, that winery has primarily made a lot of fruit wines that as our palates have developed.
Yeah, that ain't happening anymore.
No, but now they do make like a Cabernet. So like Jess wanted to go up there and try that, see if it's actually worthwhile. But the time crunch that would have put us on would have been a bit much. And I was like, well, you could have woken me up earlier. Like, but you came to bed late. And I'm like, you could have woken me up earlier.
You know what I'm hearing here? What's your pet peeve then? Or I'm sorry, not pet peeve. What do each of your what does it bother you the most?
If you want,
I'm going to call it pet peeve.
If you want to do something, cool, we'll go. Let me know. Like, yes, I may have stayed up a little late last night, but I would have gotten up and done it. I'd have done it. I think sometimes.
Don't dive too far into this. I feel like we should.
Disclaimer.
No, I feel like we should, for your sake, keep it as surface level as you can, sir.
She's like, yeah, well, you came to bed late, so I was going to let you sleep.
That phone's going to start vibrating.
Yeah, but
here.
I would have done it. If you
just put it on the comment feed.
If you just said, if you'd have woke me up and said, hey, I want to leave in the next 30 minutes. Cool. Let me get up, brush my teeth, make coffee, get on the road and go. Like that's it. All I need, 2-hour road trip. Cool. Give me a cup of coffee and a couple of cigars. I'm good. That's all I need.
You drink coffee before brushing, right? Not brush and then coffee, right?
No, I get up, bathroom, brush, deodorant, allergy pill, and then I make my coffee.
Man, first couple sips of coffee, a little rough.
No, not for me.
It's fair.
Because I make breakfast and I wait until breakfast is ready before I start drinking my coffee.
Okay.
So by that point,
I meant flavor.
So by that point, I brushed my teeth like 45, 50 minutes earlier.
All right. Yeah, so it's kind of fading there a little bit. Orange juice is the worst after brushing your teeth.
If you're doing it immediately after, yes, that can be bad.
If you can do that, you're kind of a sociopath, just so you know.
Psycho.
I'll answer this one. I do like, before I say that, let me, Adrian, we're all sleeping in the doghouse tonight. Jeez. I do like the crowd participation here. Let me say. Oh, Jonathan. Yes, I think that you're speaking to Kristen's language, maybe not the most, but he says, one of his is leaving laundry in the dryer too long. Yeah, I'm not good at the back end of laundry. I'm not a good person on that, but for me, it's, and Kristen, I know you're listening, or you will listen. I think you're listening right now, especially right now. But I don't.
Oh yeah, she's commenting.
Oh yeah, I'm sure of it.
As soon as I mentioned Cabernet from Ohio, she's like,
bothers me the most. I think it's a classic one for a lot of people, but for me, it is what I need to work on myself, and I talk about a lot on this show is communication. So it's holding on to things It's not just her. This is everyone holding on to things when it is not going to go away. When you want to say something, when you want to communicate and you don't, that is, I think, the one thing that would bother me the most, because one, I do value what she has to say and how she's feeling. I may not realize it. I get frustrated and upset. Typically, the most, because it bothers me, is that it's like, why wouldn't you have said, like, just out with it so we can,
like, it's one of those things where she comes out, she's like, well, you know, a month ago.
No, it's just if it's the,
that's just me.
That, yes, but I'm saying it's even just in the now. It's the, are you okay? Like, is everything all right? Those and you, like, no, everything's fine. Nothing like that kind of thing.
Of that too.
Everyone is. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, this is not directed just at Kristen. This is something that I know sometimes I do it, but I think that is my biggest thing, that and it's gonna continue to happen. You just try to get a little bit, keep the window smaller. Jonathan, next topic.
It's your topic.
Walk lightly. Be careful. Geez, everyone's like looking at me like, I'll be sleeping in the garage tonight. No,
do I need to cancel my?
No, this is simply, I think that's anyone, though. That's not just my significant other. It's not just my fiance. That's anyone. I don't enjoy the buildup when you could just talk about it.
Oh,
that's the thing. Like, even if you say, give me a moment, you know what I mean? Because now, like, I'm on edge. I know something's wrong, and I want to not necessarily fix it, but I want to hear it. That's all it is. That's it. That's my biggest thing. So, geez, everyone thinks that I thought that was a fair answer.
Yeah, I mean, I've called Jess out for
taking off the screen, everyone. No, don't dive further into it, because apparently this is that's a rough road.
Truth hurts, I guess, to some of our listeners.
All right, let's go a little lighter here. All right, Ryan, who from Watershed, thanks for being a part of this show tonight. Actually, we'd love to have you back on here soon. How did you guys start your cigar and whiskey journeys?
Okay,
go ahead, Nick.
So cigar journey. So growing up, my dad always used to smoke gas station cigars. I couldn't stand them.
Swishers and
cherry blend and Have a Tampa. Those were his go-tos. He always smoked them. I couldn't stand the smell of them. One day I found some of them in his truck, and I snapped them in half.
Real quick. Kristen says, shuts internet down. Kidding.
Yeah.
It's a good engagement while it lasted.
Yeah. Oh. No, growing up,
someone should be a producer on this show so they can just not put questions up there. I still think it's a fair answer. I thought that was very respectful.
Both my parents smoked. My dad smoked gas station cigars. My mom smoked cigarettes. I couldn't stand the smell. I at one point snapped some of my dad's cigars, and he snapped my ass. So I learned my lesson from that. But then
don't mess with that.
So I had a summer job after my sophomore year of college, and in the fall of my junior year, they were going to have a Halloween meetup of previous staff members, and I was going to drive there for that, and I started having some car problems on the journey. Part of it was I was nervous about going back and seeing some of those people just because of the way that summer transpired. So I was almost looking for an excuse to not go.
Car problems.
Actually,
so you didn't have car problems. This is an excuse?
No, I didn't.
Are you giving us like you're just living this to your grave?
Turns out I did have some car issues. And it's a good thing I took my car to the shop and not made that trip. But on the way back,
there were no car problems, everyone.
No, there were.
You know, you can't produce an invoice on that.
I haven't had that car.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I haven't had that car in 18 years.
Go ahead.
But on my way back, I actually stopped at the one gas station in town. Actually bought some gas station cigars.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first cigar I ever smoked. And then finals week of that semester, my best friend in college, he was having a rough week because he was a double major in physics mathematics. So he was having a stressful week. And he's like, I need a cigar. You want to come have a cigar with me? I was like, yeah, sure. Let me go grab one. I go to my dorm room. I grab one of these gas station cigars. I go back to his room. I was like, all right, I'm ready. And he's like, oh, you might want to grab two because this is what I'm smoking. And I turn to go back to my room. And he's like, unless you want one of mine. I was like, yes, I'll take one of yours. And so he gave me one of his cigars. We went out into the parking lot because at Bluffton, we had smoking boxes.
What does that mean?
So on the parking lot on each end of campus, there was a box that was painted in the parking lot. Oh. If you wanted to smoke on campus, you had to be in one of those two spots.
I'm envisioning like a structure.
No.
Like it kind of like penalizes you, like, you know, like it's clear so people like shame you. You know what I mean? Like, I thought it was...
No, literally just yellow lines on the paper.
Oh, it's not nearly as... it's fair. It's not...
And
been better if it was a shame box. You know what I mean?
Well, they couldn't.
Like Las Vegas Airport.
And they couldn't put that in the parking lot because those college kids would have hit it.
That's fair.
So I ended up smoking that cigar, and I was like, "Wow, this is really good." And then the next morning, even after I brushed my teeth, I could still taste that cigar, and it was a good flavor. And that was the person who's like, oh, if you want to get into cigars, here's, a few brands that I would recommend.
All right. So,
yeah. And that's what kind of started that journey into cigars. So that's going back, 2000 and so basically the fall and winter of 2005 is when that started. Whiskey. I didn't drink whiskey until after I was out of college. And I actually started on Scotch.
Yeah, you've mentioned that before. I did too.
I was a Glenlivet 12-year.
I was a Fiddick 15 guy.
Glenfiddich 15. That was the other
Fiddick
one.
15, man.
Yep. But don't drink half a bottle.
$45.
Don't drink half a bottle of Glenfiddich 15 while watching any of the Bourne Identity movies because that handy cam. Whew.
Oh, I thought you felt like you might be able to be Jason Bourne.
No.
Sort of like doing like
no, because the whole handy cam, everything was spinning
like around your apartment or something like that.
Oh no, that's when I was still living at home.
Oh well, even worse.
Yes. So I was primarily a Scotch drinker. Started getting into bourbon probably around the time I met Jess. But then as far as where I am now and what I do now, honestly, I wouldn't drink the bourbons I drink if it wasn't for you and Jake starting this podcast.
It's fair.
Because then I was like, ooh, I want to buy a bottle and bring it onto the show. I want to have a bottle at home so that way when I watch the podcast, I can drink something with these guys. And that's kind of just, it all just went downhill from there.
Uphill, downhill, whatever. It's all relative, right?
Yeah. But I mean, the reason I'm as heavy into bourbon and Irish whiskey as I am now is honestly because of this podcast.
Yeah. I appreciate it / sorry for that.
I blame you.
And Jake, you said, and Jake.
Initially, yes.
Okay.
But sitting second chair for so long. No, I'm kidding.
Jesus. Cigars for me, I've said that started the journey. So real quick, I'm not going to take too much time on this. My dad was he was a cigarette smoker. So I had no interest in smoking anything for years because I saw the effects on the cigarette smoking for decades type thing with the cough and everything else. So never really got into it, but I remember smoking my first cigars with my brother, 2 years older. He was in college, and I don't think he has great memory, but I don't think he has the same memory of this. Tried it, wasn't really hooked and all that stuff, but I started like looking into it as I was through my 20s and stuff like that. Like you said with the Scotch, I was getting into the Scotches because like this is what an adult professional does, right? An adult professional male stereotype is that they have, you know, some sort of Scotch or whiskey, and then, you know, the finer things in life, you start trying to, you know, get that acquired taste, and started smoking cigars to a certain extent. And then in my late 20s, I started really enjoying this cigar community, and that's really what got me into it. You know, you have some people on this podcast, especially Ray Cheshire out there. I'm going to say, you know, I've known him for
12 years.
I was going to say 15 at least. So 2007, 2008. And it was at Tinder Box actually in Fido right next door. And so there was this whole community of people that there were different ages and all that stuff. And I really was gravitating towards that. And that's where I really enjoyed that part of it. And that's the community brought me into the cigars. And then, you know, fast forward a few years later, lost my job, gotten involved with Tinder Box at Easton as a career, and then it's just blossomed from there. The whiskey side of it was I was also a Scotch guy, and I was Glenfiddich 15. That was a sipper. That was my daily like type of a thing, nightcap type of a thing, as I thought that's what you're supposed to do. Not supposed to, but you know what I mean. As you're getting older, you get into that, and it's like, oh yeah, got a little bar, and you have all this stuff, and I really enjoyed the flavor of it, so stuck with that. And then I would agree with you actually. He's not listening tonight, but Jake Sanders really got me into the bourbon side of things. Doing this, you know what I mean? Because he was getting the cigars, I was more the cigar guy. He was getting into the bourbon stuff, and so he was really getting into it, and so that's what got me further into it. I would still say to this day that I am more of a cigar guy than I am a bourbon guy, because I go through the waves of being enthusiastic of what's going on in the cigar world and also the bourbon world, but at the same time, it's like I don't get sucked in as far as some people on either side of it.
Yeah.
A little bit more on the cigar side, but again, now I've been doing that for over 11 years as a career. So, I mean, that's, you're going to have to do that. Just like, you know, Ryan, who posted this question, you know, this is his career. This is his life right now. So he's going to be even further, more and more in. So that's what got me into that. Scroll back up here. Simple one here. Tell your worst dining experience.
Jess and I were on a date. We got seated at our table. The server took our drink order, and then we didn't see her again for 25 minutes.
It's the worst when service is gone.
And she finally came back around the corner. She goes, "Oh my gosh, I completely forgot you guys were here."
That's pretty bad. Pretty bad.
And she's like, "Whatever you guys are ordering, like it's on the house. We'll take care of it." And there was that initial thought of, "Oh, well, I was going to order this, but I guess now, no, I there was that thought, but I still stayed with what I initially wanted to order, and stuck with that, and yeah, turned out fine after that. But yeah, being sat at the table and then being forgotten about,
yeah,
for that long.
Similar
it's
experience.
Like at what point do you just sit there and get up and walk out, and they go, "Wait a minute, what the hell happened here?"
I had a similar experience right there, you know, Adrian, where we were on a patio somewhere, and this was not a classy restaurant. This was just at a normal, like, you know, bar and grill type thing. And we were sitting there on the patio, and it was in like a strip mall type of a bar. Came up, asked, we got our drinks, put our food in, and didn't see the server for a while. Then we see her in different clothes walking past the patio to the parking lot with a guy and drive off. We're waiting. And finally I walked inside and went to the bar, and I said, I don't know if our orders were put in or not. We just saw our server leave. And I'm like, "What?" And they're like, didn't she tell you that she was leaving? I was like, no. Well, what'd you order? I said, this, if you don't have it, it doesn't matter. I think we are going to go if you can just get our checks. I mean, literally, you saw the server leave.
Yeah.
Like at that point, you're like, hey, if you want to cash out with me, or I'm going to transfer you or whatever, or just, you can leave, but then someone else comes out, I'm going to be taking care of you. But it was simply just, she was just done for the night. It's absolutely done for the night. That was, it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad. All right. I don't even know what these are at this point here, because I'm scrolling back up here. Sean Anderson. How do you change the things you notice in the world and drop the plane? I don't think that's right. He had one on here. I'll pull it up here in a second. Got that one. Nope. Have to get off the page. Sorry, I'm trying to bring these up here. Favorite summer memories, and what do you want to do the rest of this summer?
Favorite summer memories was summer camp, summer after my freshman year of high school. That camp had jet skis. They had a climbing tower. And
jet skis are a solid one to start with.
Oh yeah.
I mean, anytime.
So
more people should have jet skis.
So they had different jet skis. They were colored differently. And then there was a bigger, heavier, bulkier jet ski as well. So they're like, all right, if you're on this color jet ski, you have to stay left of the dock. If you're on this color jet ski, you're on the right of the dock. If you're on the bigger one, that's a little bit slower. Like you can go wherever you want.
Yeah.
And I was always on that one.
On the slower one?
Because, well, yeah, 50 miles an hour ain't all that slow on the water.
Yeah.
But I could go wherever the hell I wanted to on that one, on a river. So that was a lot of fun. And then the climbing tower was a 54-foot climbing tower made out of a bunch of different poles and rope, different ways to traverse up. And
sure.
There was this one part of it that they called the Jacob's Ladder, where it had rungs that were just held down by wires. But it wasn't anchored except at the top.
Okay.
So once you got onto the ladder, like it swung. And as you worked your way up, the rungs got further and further apart. And I was given a piece of advice as to how to traverse up that ladder. And it was considered the most difficult part of that. And it got to the point by the end of the week where some of the counselors were calling other counselors, be like, hey, watch how this guy does it.
You?
Yes. Then
glory days, man.
Then they would actually have me do it blindfolded.
Well, that's unsafe, I feel like.
And then they would also have me do it tethered to another person, to where both of us are going up it at the same time.
Okay.
And the easy way to do it was to go from the base to the ladder and then duck under the second rung. So you're standing on the first one, the second rung's at about your chest.
Sure.
But your rope's on the other side of you. And so you grab it, jump, and kind of backflip up and then push yourself
literally
up.
Backflip?
Yeah. To where then your chest is on top of the rung above you and you just push yourself up.
The backflip, like, you lost me on that. I don't think that's something that everyone can do.
And so literally I would just go my way up and they would have me do like speed runs to see how fast I could go up it.
Wow. Like a racehorse there.
Yes.
Were they play? Did you see like money exchanging hands at any point?
I didn't see any of that.
Yeah, there's definitely money exchanging hands. What do you want to do the rest of the summer?
I don't have any plans the rest of summer because we got 2 vacations planned for next year. So the rest of this summer,
what do you want to do the rest of summer?
Well, not sweat my ass off would be nice.
No, it's not going to happen the next couple of weeks. So Stay inside. It's what Nate's answer is. I'm going to stay inside.
No, the rest of the summer, I'd like to be able to, pull off a cigar event at my job. The first couple that I'd had planned didn't really ever come to fruition for one way or the other. I'm hoping that by the end of the summer, I can be able to do one. But hey, as far as that, I don't really have any plans the rest of the summer.
All right. Well, you got to figure out what you want to do the rest of the summer. It's going to be gone before we know it. It's hot right now. It's not just you, everyone. It's just summers just go quicker and quicker. We all know that, right? Next thing you know, it's going to be fall and then winter. So, favorite summer memories for me, probably the family vacations up in Wisconsin. So we started doing that. My mom, my brother, and we started going up to Door County to Kangaroo Lake, and we would spend a week with my Aunt Beth, Uncle Jeff, who had been going up longer, and my cousin Lindsay, and they were staying at the same cottages for a very, very long time. And so it was like going up there it was beautiful, but it was also, you visited with family, and my grandma would go up there same week, and then we became friends with the people that own the cottages. And this was now family friends. So they've been doing this a long time. It's funny that Christian Summers listening out there. Happy birthday, Christian. I think it's today, or it's either around today. I think it's today. But we met each other at when I worked at 2 Men in a Truck. And when I stopped going up to this family vacation, it was because I was working at a moving company, and the summer is the busiest time. And so that became a blackout for vacations. And that's when I stopped going up there. And so it's not necessarily very, very fond memories of those vacations. It's not necessarily that place. It holds a dear place in my heart for that place because of the memories, but it's the spending time with family and extended family and all that stuff. My grandma's passed since those days, but they still go up there, and they're going to go up there actually next week. And I haven't been up there in years, but kept in touch through social media and otherwise with, the people that own the cottages and stuff like that. Went up to a wedding of the daughter of the people that own the cottages. Like that was like, we were invited because that's how close the family friends were back in the late 2000s. And so great memories there. And now it's, going forward, it's just really trying to not replicate those things, but really just try to enjoy the time, making the new summer memories. And what I want to do the rest of this summer and next, it's interesting because with my family taking that vacation next week, not going on it this summer, looking forward to in July, going to be going to Chicago to see some of that family, some of Kristen's family, my family. They're both in Chicago, and going to Cubs game, and just really try to enjoy the time that we have and not let it go by because schedules get so tough. Even without kids, it's just it's always something every night, you know what I mean? And then it's like, oh, you have this free night. Oh, you have plans, and it rolls through it. So enjoying that time. Next summer is the wedding for Kristen and I, and it's really exciting because even with the family that normally goes to Door County in Wisconsin, they are basically making Dominican Republic their summer vacation and taking a year off from that. To my knowledge, they might still do both, but it's a big thing. And I think that's really, for me, it's kind of a full circle thing that next summer we're going to have a lot of the family there that's going to be wanting to go get together for Kristen and my wedding. That's really kind of cool.
Jess already booked our stay.
We got to review that. Make sure you did it right for $1 down, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure. That's amazing. So we got to talk. We got to make sure we're all good there. That's awesome. I love hearing that. All right. Nate's going to be there. Yeah. Let's go back to some of these questions here. And I appreciate the comments. Sorry we can't bring them all up here. We're trying to get through some of these questions here and also get you guys scrolling. Am I too far here? No, there they are.
There's been a lot of stuff going on.
Adrian, the food thing. What food would you rather cook than go out to?
So I'd say one would be shrimp and grits, because she just makes some awesome shrimp and grits. It's one of my favorite meals that she makes.
Yeah, you're always about that.
And like, she made it recently.
Rightfully so, right?
She made it recently, and it was the first time she had made it in a while. Because we were supposed to have a couple friends over, but then, one of them passed a certain exam, and her husband wanted to take her out to celebrate. So blah, blah, blah. They didn't come over. So it just meant more shrimp and grits for me. But, honestly, I love doing the steak and wine Sundays. I love doing
it. Yeah.
On my birthday, we go out.
David Welch just said steak.
Yeah.
Jonathan Herring, steak.
So every year for my birthday, we go to a place, and I usually end up getting a steak. Sometimes I'll get the special.
You have to there, though.
Yeah. It sometimes depend on the special. If the special sounds good enough, like sometimes I'll go with the special they're having. But a lot of times I just end up, with their steak, and I sit there. I'm like, okay, I just paid $60 for this, and I could have made it at home for this. And it's like, how much better is it? They got a 1200 degree broiler, and I got my oven. So, but I mean,
yeah.
Even though I make steaks every Sunday night, and I love that, there's still something different that hits about my birthday steak. Yeah. But given the price, shit, I can buy a whole tenderloin for what that place charges for a fillet or a ribeye.
Yeah. I'm torn on the steak thing. I love doing it at home, love doing the different wines and stuff like you do. We do Monday nights typically. I do enjoy doing that. But also, I do like going out to a nice restaurant and enjoying the ambiance and getting cocktails. You know what I mean? Like doing the whole thing. See how they do it. It's got to be a good place. But you're paying for the ambiance. You're paying for the atmosphere. You're paying for everything else there. So, man, I'd rather cook than go out to. I'd probably have to say steak as well, just because that's really the only thing I cook. With Kristen, she's got a great recipe book that she's basically building in a sense. She's got her good dishes and chicken enchiladas. And I love going to a Mexican restaurant. I do. I absolutely love it. But some of her, like hers is fantastic. It's interesting for me. Rather cook. For me, it's steak, because that's in my wheelhouse. Grilling is my form of cooking, so I enjoy that stuff. I would say with friends, burgers and like Italian sausages, just because I can cook those things and we can have a great time, like in a group setting, and not have to go out and order like, oh, what burger do you want? And everyone's got a bill at the end. You know what I mean? Let's just throw them all on the grill. Everyone get a drink. Everyone chill, hang out, and just do that.
So that kind of reminds me of that bit in Parks and Rec when they have the burger competition, and
Ron Swanson probably.
The one guy sits there and he's like, "Oh, I made this turkey burger, and it's got this, and it's got all these little special things."
Yeah.
And then Ron Swanson comes up and goes, "Here's a burger. It's made of beef. Here's ketchup if you want." And everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, it's so good." It's like just a plain burger.
So
like,
good.
oh my gosh.
All right, let me see if I can find where I might regret this. Oh, here we go. Does anyone else hate the sports desert that exists between now and the end of August? I love baseball, but it sucks only having one sport going for a couple of months. Thank God for the Olympics this year. There were comments after that, obviously from Ray Cheshire, about not appreciating good sports like soccer, football, in his mind. Yes, Jonathan, I miss football. I know Kristen commented on that. Ray says, okay, bye. I don't know if that was based on that one. No, Ray. I mean, we got the Euros on, in the shop right now when they're on, and Fido next door has got a big following, obviously, for soccer here. Crew are still playing, Columbus Crew. But you like sports. I mean, Nate, but you say a lot of times you're not really a sports guy or pro guy or anything like that, but then you know more than I do about a lot of teams.
I love watching college football.
Yeah.
As I'm sure a lot of our listeners do. Love watching college football. The only reason I even watch the NFL is because the person I work with at the Tinder Box on Sundays is a NFL nut and loves Pittsburgh Steelers. So he's always got it on. So I don't even argue.
That he does.
So I don't even really watch NFL. I don't watch Monday Night Football. I just watch college football when I get the opportunity, which now because of my job, because I work on Saturdays in a room that doesn't have a TV, I don't even watch that. I don't even get to watch Buckeyes games anymore at this point. And then I prefer college basketball over NBA. I don't watch NBA. I haven't watched NBA.
I'm right there with you on that one.
I haven't watched that in years. I'll watch baseball. Unfortunately, my TV provider, I don't really get to see many Reds games, and that's my team. So I don't get to watch a lot of that. Baseball and hockey are both sports I'd rather go to than watch on TV.
Yeah. I'm a big NFL fan, so I like the NFL Sundays. It's a shorter season. I mean, it's still decent, but I mean, it's still a shorter season. They talk about obviously the draft, that was fun, all that stuff. But I mean, that's the one I followed, and maybe it's part of my attention span that I like, even though there's games, several days a week. But it's like, especially your team has one game. That's it. I don't have to watch every game, Monday night, Thursday night, the Saturday games when they come on, the London games at 9 a.m. here, all that stuff. I don't need all of it. I don't have to have it on all the time. But I can follow my team once a week, play fantasy football.
I was about to say, you also do fantasy football, so there's...
Once a week.
There's an interest in there.
I like MLB. I like, the Cubs, but I don't watch every game. There's a lot of games,
Well, to the end of his question there, like I remember growing up, my mom and I would watch, like, if the Olympics were on, we were watching it. It didn't matter what event it was.
Yeah.
We were watching it.
Olympics are on for what, 2 weeks straight?
Something like that.
Yeah. 2 weeks straight.
I love watching the Olympics. Mm-hmm. Because I mean, that's, best of the best athletes in what they do. And you get to see them face off against each other, because a lot of the other stuff they don't really televise. The world finals or whatever that they do every single year, you don't necessarily get to see those on TV. But the Olympics, they air that shit every 2 years.
I think the Olympics are coming back in this country. I think there was a drought there that no one was really interested in it, but I think it's coming back.
Why? Why was there a drought, do you think?
Amateurs, right? Pro sports really took in this country. I think that pro sports really took a front seat to anything amateur. So it was like 80s, 90s, stuff like that. But I maybe it's just my life and where I'm at, my generation, whereas it was not as interesting. You had look back, like track and field was so big, right? Ben Johnson, and you had the commercials for that stuff, and then there was the PED stuff after that. You know what I mean? That really just people lost interest. Like, oh my god, like yeah, no wonder they're the best because they were taking steroids or they're taking whatever horse pills or whatever it is. You know what I mean? I feel as though there was something that was lost there for a while with the Summer Olympics and the Winter Olympics. It's like when curling became a thing. You know what I mean? Like curling was like something that like my college roommate started watching and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, this is interesting, but it's like cornhole on ice. You know what I mean? Like it was like, what's going on here? But I think that it's coming back. My lifetime, a big thing with the Olympics was again, I don't watch NBA now, but the Dream Team '92 was such a huge pusher for the Olympics, Summer Olympics. Like that was, you had the best of the NBA playing finally, because you could allow professional athletes to participate in that, because certain sports, once you became a professional, you couldn't compete in the amateurs, right? So then it like, well, why would I watch amateur basketball?
Why would I watch college guys playing basketball?
Not even college guys, just random like countries of guys playing basketball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just such an interesting dynamic there. And I think it's coming back a little bit more. There's more interest there.
Well, I think part of the other reason, like especially with something like basketball, 30 years ago when you had the Dream Team, like there wasn't much of a basketball presence outside the United States.
It was growing though.
It was growing, but the United States was beating everybody by 40 points. The guys on the other teams just wanted autographs from the Dream Team. Like the great, like during that year, the greatest game ever was a practice of the Dream Team when when Magic challenged Michael, and they're like, "All right, second half, we're going at it." Like, that was the greatest thing that you've probably never seen in terms of a basketball game.
If you guys haven't watched The Last Dance, there was a great episode on that series. If you watch that, about being a Bulls guy, Chicago guy, with Tony Kukoc on Croatia, who's a fucking star.
Oh yeah.
And Michael and Scotty were like, "We're gonna beat the shit out of this guy."
I'm like, well, wait,
because he was getting signed.
You're my teammate. And like, not anymore. You're not.
Yeah, not yet.
Now, I do remember when Kobe was on the U.S. team, he was playing against Spain, and Pau Gasol played for Spain. And, well, he and Pau Gasol were teammates, and right out of the get-go, Kobe knew that they were going to run a screen, and Pau was going to set the screen. He goes, "I'm running right through him. I'm going to run into his chest. I'm running right through him." And they're like, "No, you're not." Sure enough, Kobe just ran full force, forearm into Pau Gasol's chest, knocking down. And Pau Gasol gets up and looks at him. He's like, "Dude, what the hell?" And he's like, "No, we ain't teammates." But in the last 30 years, international basketball has become much bigger than what it was. So the competition is a lot stiffer out there. And so you don't have the U.S. team blowing everybody out by 40 points. It's more of a competition.
True point right there. Yeah. You're just saying anymore, like there's very few amateurs, truly amateurs. They're all getting endorsements and being paid for it. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. And that's what I mean. That's the reality of the world, right?
Well, that's also what made the Miracle on Ice team so great. Mm-hmm. There were a bunch of college guys and nobodies that took on a professional team from the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
And, that's what made that whole story great, was a bunch of boys going up against men.
I will say this, though, Jonathan, on this and talking about schedules and stuff like that. Like, I miss NFL Sundays. Absolutely. I do enjoy having some Sundays off for part of the year, so that I can hang out and do other things. I mean, luckily, Kristen, that's how we met, actually, was NFL Sundays. So luckily I have a fiance that also enjoys NFL Sundays, but I know there's a lot of couples out there that one, typically the guy, it's like Sundays are NFL Sundays, and like the significant other's like, "Well, we don't want to hang out." It's like, so it's NFL Sunday, so you're welcome to.
See, I'm working, so I don't have.
I know you. Yeah,
I don't have to deal with that.
Yeah. I'm very fortunate.
But even if I wasn't working at the Tinder Box on Sundays, I'd still be sitting around the house and watching something other than NFL.
You'd probably watch NFL at this point, I feel like, or come watch with us.
That has more probability than me sitting at home watching NFL.
We've got a balanced question here from Kristen. Favorite thing about significant other, to balance out Jonathan Herring's question. And I see some comments here from Jonathan. When I'm traveling for work, my favorite part is coming home to her. That's very, very sweet. I love that. It's nice.
Yes, it is.
Nate, how about you? She says favorite things, but I was going to try to limit it to one, but you can say as many as you'd like.
Jess is really good at planning and saving for the future. So like when we were dating or younger, early on in our marriage, you know, all of a sudden nobody likes having car problems.
So the name problems.
Yeah. And they would always stress me out. And I would sit there and always get pissed about having to drop, you know, a couple $100 on car maintenance and stuff like that. Jess is so much of a saver on most things that I remember one time I was, you know, all of a sudden my car had to go into the shop and it's like, okay, it's going to cost this much money. Like, fuck, I have to spend this much to maintain my car. And Jess is like, yeah, we could do that 10 times over. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, yeah, we got that. We can take care of that. It's not a problem. I'm like, oh, okay. So, you know, so like when I replaced my car, when we replaced, you know, the piece of shit Chevy Cruze that we had.
I was going to say, if you say that piece of shit Chevy Cobalt, that thing was a tank.
Fucking was.
Still is.
Chevy Cobalt was way better than the Chevy Cruze.
Brown family better take care of that beast.
Yes, I just sold that Chevy Cobalt.
Steal it $500.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, I just want to get rid of it, and it was good.
Tires were worth that.
Oh God, yes.
All right, go on. Sorry,
but no,
I don't want you to talk about the Cobalt.
But no, it became one of those things where, like, she is so good at being able to save and prepare for things like that, that when those come up, I don't have to stress out and worry about it. It's like, yes, it sucks writing that check every single time that something like that happens. Like, it hurts.
Sure.
To have to pay that much money. But it's done. Like, we're not worried about it. It's not dragging on for months and months and months later. It's like, okay, this is the problem. We took care of it, and that's it.
All right.
And it completely brought the stress level down. Because sometimes when you have, whether it be car problems, you know, issues with the house, anything like that,
we've got an addendum to this here. Go ahead and read that.
Nate, you need to do another not related to saving.
I'm going to put up the original question here.
No, that's mine.
No, it's the original poster actually did a follow-up here.
Oh, thanks, Ray.
That was to Ray, not Kristen, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just want to clarify.
Sorry.
For those listening to the audio, you may not see that, but it was a gesture.
Nope, that was definitely related to Ray.
One of your favorite things other than the savings?
So
you've been together a long time.
Jess cooks most of the dinners.
Wow. Okay.
She does a lot of cooking. She tries a lot of stuff.
Takes care of you.
Yeah.
Feeds you.
And even if I'm not hungry for dinner, she'll still make dinner just that way I have food to take for lunch the next day.
She takes care of you.
Yeah. God only knows how I'd be if I was on my own.
So that's a statement that's very interesting that you make. You're not struggling, but you're thinking, contemplating about your favorite thing about Jess, and then you follow up that with, God help you if you were on your own. So I think this list is longer than you actually. So not just you, but people out there listening. It's like this question, if you have to think about it and then you maybe think about it further, and you're like, God, if I was on my own, I'd be fucked. There's a long list there. So maybe it's time to do that. So for me, so for Kristen, the planning, the
that's a good one.
The appreciating the now, the life, right? You know what I mean? It's planning, it's having a vacation planned, it's having just even something on the calendar to a point, right? So it's not letting. Favorite thing about Kristen is her enjoyment for life and making sure that she brings me along with her journey, and vice versa, right? You know what I mean? I think there's both sides of that, but I'm easily the one to coast through it and maybe not put as much effort into planning for ahead. So for her, what I really appreciate about her, favorite thing is probably not only the support and the partnership there, but if I was to narrow it down, one of the things I really do appreciate about our relationship and her role in the relationship is not looking just into the future, like retirement age and all that stuff. It's things could change on a dime. So appreciating the fact that we have a great phase of our life going right now, and we're going to enjoy it. And she's probably the driver of that. And I appreciate the fact that she is the one that will remind me that it's life is continually passing us. You know what I mean? And it's about making sure that you're enjoying the view. And I don't think that enough people do that. You know, it's not just about vacations, not just about going out. It's not just about, it's about doing stuff to enjoy it, as opposed to my day off is just like to get shit done and we go back into work the next day. You know, we have a couple days off here and there. It's no, enjoy it, because it goes so fast. And there's people around me that they talk about saving for the future and retirement, all that stuff, and they like years down the road, while they just aren't enjoying now. And it's, you got to find that balance. And I feel like, you know, for me, that's probably my biggest favorite thing about being with Kristen, is that there is that communication about enjoying now as well as the future, not just living in the now, but enjoying the now while you go forward.
I think she also gets you to do more different things than what
we're commenting on each other now,
than what you used to do in the past.
We're commenting
as in like going to different places, doing different things, instead of Sunday. Hey, it's Sunday. I'm not working. We're gonna go to Fido and watch football. It's like you can.
Although I did go do that, and that's how I met her, a Double Barrel. So no, but I get
it's not just that. Like you'll go other places, or you'll go do.
It's weird. You can comment more on mine, but not yours. You and Jess.
I don't pay attention.
Say it louder if you want to. I don't think you want to.
I don't pay attention.
You want to go to the next one?
I don't know what the next one is.
It's not favorite holiday. Jonathan says favorite holiday: Thanksgiving, July 4th, Christmas, then New Year's for me. He has it laid out there. And wait, I want to comment on Ray's on the last one there. Favorite thing about Jane is that she taught me how much better it is to do for others rather than for yourself. I like that.
That's nice. That's nice.
All right, favorite holiday, Nate. Happy Juneteenth, everyone.
Favorite holiday. Kind of a toss-up, because my Thanksgiving and Christmas both kind of mirror one another. Because
what, the top two?
Oh, I mean, it's a stress. Both of them are stressful because both holidays typically involve, you know, driving the first part of the day to her family's to spend the first half of the day together, and then driving to my family to spend the last part of the day together. But it's still the aspect of being able to see one another's family, you know, whether it be the other person's family or our own family. It's something that we both look forward to typically.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes there are those times where you'd rather spend time with your in-laws, and then there's times you'd rather spend with your own family.
Mm-hmm.
We both have those. But some of the best parts about, for me, Christmas is not necessarily Christmas Day, where I got to drive up north, spend time with her family, and then drive back south and visit time with my family. It's the weekend before Christmas when I get to spend time with my dad.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the reasons why my dad's always had his Christmas party the weekend before Christmas, is because my parents are split. Jess's parents are also split. Like, there's Christmases all over the place, and sometimes people's, like, there's only so many hours in the day that you can spend time with people.
You gotta figure that out as a couple, right? Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
I mean, when my sister first got married and had kids, it's like, okay, like, our grandmother was still alive, so it's like, okay, you got Christmas here in the morning, and then you got Christmas here, and then you got Christmas here, and like, you're sitting there driving to 4 different places to do a holiday, and sometimes it just feels exhausting. And so my dad never wanted to compete with his kids or stepkids having to choose who they spent time with.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad and stepmom always decided, let's have our Christmas get together before Christmas, because no one else in our families are doing that. So we're able to get together for that. And then on Christmas Day, it's one less trip for them to worry about. They can go visit whoever they want. They got their time in. Christmas Day, they can go spend time with whoever they want. Let them decide that. But again, with, having to drive, a couple hours north and south, sometimes that can take a toll. So sometimes some of the ones I really enjoy are some of the summer holidays when you have a get together.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm having a get together, grilling out burgers, brats.
We missed Memorial Day this week or this year.
We're sitting outside. It's like, okay, cool. Like, that's a much easier thing to pull off. And
it's less stress, right? You get to enjoy it, right?
It is less stress. Because I'm going across town. That's one. But
I get it.
Sometimes the family, there's more pressure on being there because it's family.
Yeah. Shouldn't be, but it is, right?
But then sometimes, also, like, when you have get-togethers on holidays, a lot of the other people there are your friends or Kristen's friends.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, most of them are not people I hang out with on a regular basis. So It's like, okay, I get to see these people, but if something happens to where, like, I don't really care for that person or they don't care about me, like, okay, it's one day. Fuck it. Get over it.
Oddly enough, that's the same thing about family a lot of times. As someone looking in. You see them at the holidays, you don't really see them much more than that.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. If you come back to one of our cookouts or get-togethers, you'll see the people again, much like family holidays. Who do you like more, I guess?
Well, I think last year I saw Kristen's friends more than I saw my own family for holidays.
Yeah, right.
If it wasn't for my niece and nephew both getting married in the last month, I don't know if I'd have seen that much of my family.
Yeah. Favorite holiday for me? Ooh, that's a tough one. I enjoy holidays, man. I really do. I enjoy, especially as I've gotten older. Full circle, right? As a kid, you really enjoy, as Jonathan puts out there, Thanksgiving, Christmas. That was a big thing, right? Saw family, whether it be here or my Chicago family. We'd usually go back for Christmas. You missed out on the proximity family of, like, Thanksgiving, where everyone got together at grandma's house and did their own Thanksgiving. So we did our own thing here. So now, my mom's, it's nice with my immediate family here, there's like a rotation of who has the holidays, right? Including my brothers-in-laws. They host Thanksgiving now, or they host certain holidays, and it's nice to get everyone together, just like we did for Father's Day. Even though my father's passed, but even this last Sunday, we got together, my brothers-in-laws, and my brother's father-in-law. He grilled, and we got together and hung out, and everyone was together. It was nice. Kristen, being away from her family, she was a part of that as well. So all these holidays, it's really nice. It's tough to narrow down for me my favorite holiday, because I try to get now with effort the most out of every holiday, right? The best I can. It depends on work schedules and everything else. So, Jonathan, you laid them out really nicely. Thanksgiving's really nice, even in today's world and today's U.S. Thanksgiving still has an appreciation. We've talked about it. We do a Thanksgiving episode. One of the things that we've talked about on this show is what are you going to be thankful for next year, as a mindset there, because I think there's a different way you can frame some holidays there. July 4th, still love it, right? I don't go out to the fireworks as much just because of work. We're open at the store on July 4th. Huge celebration July 3rd in Columbus, Ohio, right? Red, white, and boom. But I can't get to those things anymore. So I enjoy those things. I'm with you, Nate. I do enjoy celebrating some of the holidays with family and friends. That's the biggest thing. New Year's is fun. That's your birthday. Nate, but it's like Memorial Day, Labor Day, some of those things is I try to appreciate why we have those holidays here in the U.S. But it's about getting together and actually enjoying the reason that, like, Memorial Day is a holiday, Labor Day is a holiday, 4th of July is a holiday here in the U.S. Really do enjoy that. Sean Anderson just commented right here. It's hard to enjoy Thanksgiving anymore because everyone wants to complain about it. The only thing I'll say to that is that you can, to a point, choose your Thanksgiving. Choose how you want to celebrate. If all you do is go into the holidays and you're going to be stressed about who's going to be complaining about what, whatever, nip it in the bud, knock it down, shut it down. That's it. If they want to complain about it, call them out, whatever you want to do. If you want to talk politics, go ahead, get into it with them. Fuck it. Anymore, just let it go. You know what I mean? Like, just they want to engage. They want to, like, complain about something. It's like, use it as a learning opportunity. Probably fall on deaf ears, but I think that you can. You don't have to. If you don't enjoy it, don't go to those get-togethers. Or if you're hosting, don't invite those people. And when they ask why I wasn't invited, it's because you fucking complain all the time. You can come. Just if you enjoy the holiday. That's it. That's all I can say about that. So I enjoy the holidays, and I can appreciate the people that enjoy those holidays with that, because that's what it's all about. Is appreciating the reason for the holiday. This whole thing I said, even today, and we'll move on to the last question here, last topic here, but even like Juneteenth being a new holiday for the masses, a federal holiday in the U.S. When I say that, I already know that some people are like, oh, he's kind of making fun of it. I'm not. I think it's a great thing to appreciate what that is behind it. But don't use it in a political way that it had been used to make this a national holiday. That's the only thing I'll say about that. Is I think that from what I've learned about Juneteenth, I never knew about it growing up, but it's like, I can appreciate the appreciation for the significance of Juneteenth, if that makes sense. But as soon as you go way beyond that and trying to politicize it and divide people, yeah, you can go fuck yourself with that, in my opinion. I don't like that. Anything you want to say to that?
Nope. Not touching.
That's the thing. That's what I'm saying. I think that's the whole thing is just like this is, like the Thanksgiving thing, like Sean's saying, it's like, you can talk about it if you want to be honest about it. And that's what I'm doing with that. Jonathan, last one here as we round out tonight. He aims it towards me, but Nate as well. What's the one thing you are focused on the most right now to get to the next level, relationship wise, job wise, friendship wise? Any comment to that?
I'm probably focused more on career stuff right now, just because I predict in the next 6 months there's going to be some changes going on at work. Some of the stuff that's gone on recently at work is not necessarily been the most positive for me. But there's things that I'm still trying to do and work on in order to make those better. Part of that is taking on more responsibility and stuff like that, and showing myself as someone who is committed and all in. I don't want people I work with thinking I'm doing it just for a job. It's like, no, there's a reason I left doing what I was doing to come here.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that. And I want to get to that point. There were some setbacks even before I started as to why I'm not doing what I was originally supposed to be doing. I want to work on getting to that point. And whatever it takes to be able to get there, without the detriment of anyone else. Like, I want to do it, because I'm doing a good job or I'm bettering myself. I don't want to have to get to that point by throwing other people under the bus, because I wouldn't feel good about myself if that happened. So I know there's going to be some changes. Also part of it is, what related to that is also, kind of sticking up for myself a little bit. There are some times, and I've experienced this with every career that I've ever had, where I feel like I've just gotten, kind of trampled over, and ignored. And so there's a part of me that sits there and is like, okay, when's enough going to be enough? When are you actually going to stick up for yourself and, do something to change the course that things are on now?
Is there anything else beyond that? Like, what do you want to, how are you focusing on that? Positively, negatively, where you at?
So one of the things I had to learn,
because Christian says he can relate.
One of the things I had to learn very early on, when
put that up there real quick here,
when I started my current role.
Hey, right there. Yes, Nate, I'm in the same boat, trying to navigate those waters to put my family and my career on the best path forward.
So when I originally got hired on, I got hired on to do a certain role. Before I even started, things happened outside of my control that kind of changed that. So the way I look at it is, okay, since I can't do some of the other things I was originally brought on to do because someone else does those, I have to focus entirely on what it is I can do.
Okay.
So there are there's several reasons I was brought on to the team at Carfagna's. Not all of those are things I get to do on a daily basis, just because of the way things transpired. But there are still some things that I do have control over. And so I feel like if I focus on the things that I can control and do the absolute best at those, that will then, it'll show to other people like, hey, we brought this person on to do this. He didn't get to do that, but he took it with grace, and he's still being a valuable member of the team.
Good.
He's still doing whatever it is we ask of him to do. He's still doing whatever it is he can do. Like, he's going out of his way to be helpful to the team, whatever that may be. Like, whatever's asked of him,
okay,
he can do it.
All right.
That's what I want to be. So that way, when stuff happens in the future, like, okay, like this person didn't just sit there and, coast along or be a glorified cashier. Like, this person actually took it upon themselves to go above and beyond and do as much as they could.
Yeah.
And actually shows an initiative to want to do more.
So bettering yourself with the hopes that you feel validated, and also people see that validation and the value there. No?
Yes, but not necessarily, but not because I'm trying to better myself. It's, this is what I've been handed. So like,
for you,
if this is the, for those that are watching, if this was a list of things that I was brought on to do, but now I'm only responsible for this, fine, do this to the absolute best of my ability.
Be the best janitor, right? That's the old saying, right?
Whatever my role is, be the best person.
So Jonathan says there, as long as you see yourself as an underdog, you'll be that. You are very impressive in your knowledge of bourbon and cigars, and you need to own that, which I think you did. And I think everyone that listened, like Jonathan, since you got this job, you are that. You were that, right? It's very relative to what you're saying.
Yes. But now it's a matter of also being better at other things as well.
Constantly bettering yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
Without getting into detail, I think I like Jonathan's point there, right? It's bring it back to the value you brought to the table right there. Jonathan, for me, what's the one thing he says, so I got to pick this, you are focused on the most right now to get to the next level, relationship wise, job wise, friendship wise. Next level is a tough thing for me because, Jonathan, I would say, much like you pointed out to Nate, and when I look at when he got this job, it was, he was passionate about it. It was very, very suited to what he was enjoying, enthusiastic right now, not just in life, but, with the bourbon, the wine, and the cigars and all that stuff, the value, the knowledge, and everything else that he brings to the table. It's, for me, what I'm focused on right now, and this might bore like Ray and some other people out there, but I've had a nice awakening recently where it's continuing to be my best self, because like we talk about with on this show where, post, we call it COVID era, whatever you want to call it, but it was like we talk a lot about the best practices.
Mm-hmm.
I've lost some of those things. So for me, it's some very basic stuff. It's trying to get better night's sleep. I'm focusing on myself is what I'm saying here, so that I can be the best aspect of my relationship for the other person. Job wise, my employer, I can actually be the best that I can be for my employer. Friendship, same thing, be my best for my friends. I'm fortunate enough to be able to lean on my fiance, Kristen, on this. It's like she'll ask about some friends that I've brought up that are going through some stuff. And she's like, how are they doing? And even like, it might be a short period of time. I'm like, why I haven't checked in with them, because I'm cruising now. You know what I mean? And so friendship wise, it's checking in with the friends and being honest with them, being there for them. Job wise, much the same way, showing up and doing, not just coasting and being complacent in that. Relationship, same thing there. So I'm actually in the process right now. I've recently had a revamp, went to my doctor, my normal 6-month checkup, and I had a little bit of I need to tweak some things. And so I've paid attention to some of the things I'm doing from a medicine side, a supplement side, from the physical workout side, and the I'm trying to keep myself on the path that I want to be on, that I know that I'm my best at, and not get complacent or lazy or drop off some of those things, which I feel like I had. So I think the thing I'm focused most on right now is trying to be my best self in every way that I can with effort, so that I'm happy with where I'm coming from with all those arenas of my life, so that I know that if it does well and there's a lot of success there, that I've done what I can. If it doesn't do well, it's not because of a lack of effort. Because a lot of times I feel like when there's failure there, you look back and you're like, yeah, I could have done more.
Did I put enough effort in?
It's not always your fault, but so like that's my whole thing now. So with the relationship, Jonathan, happily engaged, looking forward to this year and going forward, not just looking towards the wedding date, but also enjoying the year now leading up to it, the job, expanding on the relationship with my boss and the business that I'm a part of, and friendship wise, that's the toughest one, I think, sometimes, because the other, I'm so invested in your significant other and your job, and the friends, a lot of times it's easy to let them kind of shed away because you're so focused on the first two. But now that last one, the friendship wise thing, is it takes effort, man. A little goes a long way sometimes with that. And so I feel as though the communication, we are in an era right now that we have all the tools that make communication and everything just so easy, and yet having it be so comfortable and easy, it's so hard to stay on top of it for a lot of people, myself included. So yeah, so I'm trying to be my best self, and I know it sounds cheesy and all that stuff, but I'm trying to be and focus on being attentive to day-to-day life. That's what I'd say. Being attentive to day-to-day life, that what makes me happy, so that I can, if I'm surrounding myself with the right people, job-wise, relationship-wise, and friend-wise, it doesn't always have to be reciprocated sometimes, but you know that you're doing what you can, so that if it's not reciprocated, just like the holidays we were just talking about, speak up, call that friend out, have that tough conversation with your relationship, and have that tough conversation sometimes with your job. And sometimes it'll get better, even though you thought that if I bring this up, it's going to be tougher if I don't. And I'd say that's the biggest thing I'm doing that. Anyone else? Anything else? Well, that's all she wrote, I think.
Sean had to go and ruin a good thing.
I'd hire you. Get a room.
Yeah.
Love our audience.
Yes. Yeah, Ray Chester said when he was talking to me, he goes, I'd hire you. And I was like, I think that's the best compliment you ever give me.
Yeah, well, I get Sean's compliment there, or comment there, is get a room. I'm just kidding. No, it's guys, thank you very much for tuning in. It has been a very balmy and warm, tropical evening in Columbus, Ohio tonight, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. Hopefully you have some AC. It's dropped down to 78 degrees, so it feels great. Feels like I'm on vacation a little bit, you know what I mean? It's the time you wind down. It's 11 o'clock here, and finally it's cooling down under 80 degrees. But hope you guys have a great week. Next week, again, 6 p.m. Eastern time, we are going to have, what's the distillery?
So not necessarily distillery. It's High in Wicked.
Yeah.
In with an apostrophe. So High and Wicked.
The master blender on with us.
Yep. They do a lot of sourcing, but some of their stuff is just absolutely dynamite.
Haven't had it yet myself. Nate has, so we're looking forward to trying this stuff, and we appreciate Aaron taking care of us. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's great to have
always
those
the hookups. Guys, happy Whiskey Wednesday. See you next week. Continue the conversation on the Bourbon and BS community page on Facebook, and we will see you next week. And again, Watershed coming out. The 6 barrels are going to be released on the 24th and then widely on the 28th. So, guys, check that out here if you're in the state of Ohio. And we will see you guys very soon.